What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Chronogo bringing you another Cosmonarchy tournament. It's a whole tournament. Not even 3 days into the new year, and here we are about to stamp our feet. Oh, absolutely praying. Absolutely devastated. Totally and utterly annihilated. Don't worry, that was just me trying to launch the game without any files. So while I fix that, welcome to Weekend Wage. Weekend Wage is our bi-weekly tournament. We are going to be doing an awful lot of epic things today. Casting an awful lot of epic games today. Let me just double check that nobody has signed up. Oh, shit, we did get one guy signing up. At the very last moment, it will be Sausage joining us. Which does, in fact, change up our bracket a little bit, but not enough to matter too much here. So, I will now reveal the realities to you. Let us do that. All right. So this gives us a top 3 players a bye, which is interesting. So let's see how that one goes. Alexander thought he would be free from Arbus, and then Sausage joined, and then Alexander had to play against Arbus again. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. But this does mean that we get Sausage versus Godwheat very early on in the tournament. That should be pretty good. That should be pretty good. Oh yeah, I am kind of sepia flavored, aren't I? I can probably fix that. Relatively. And by that I mean I can't fix that very easily at all. I was actually tinkering a lot with it because I don't really like the green glow or whatever. My guess is that my color balance is off or something. Oh yeah, look at that. That fixes a lot of stuff, doesn't it? Ta-da! I'm normal color. You can probably back this up a little bit then. Then it's too green. That's alright. When I'm messing around with this, you know what we're not doing? Oop, I just disappeared. You know what we're not doing when I'm messing around with this? We're not telling people what to do. We're not telling people what to do. Very good. Very good. Okay, so my head looks very round somehow. You're probably not seeing the top of my headset. That would be why. And that's just because of the... Damn it, Vilius. You made me screw up my hair. That's just because of the way that the green screen chroma key thing is working. Eventually, I will get a better setup. Alright, so we have, since Vilius is a dodger and has decided to not participate in this Weekend Wage, we have do we have an even or odd number of players? We have an odd number of players. We have 11 players. So that means that our first matchup is Sausage, Matt Peck versus Godwheat. Winner faces Ziki. And then we have, let me pull up the bracket again. Arbus. Epic versus Alexander. Winner faces Newt. Then we have On Mono. Epic versus Kutyam. Winner faces Ayud, 64. Then we have Hit 'em Up. Nap Fake versus Crankendown. There we go. Hit 'em Up is Hit 'em Up is having quite a moment. Quite a moment. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens, boys. This will be a fun bracket. I'll quickly show you guys the bracket, actually, since I do like to do that from time to time. And I have the opportunity to, while we wait for those ever-important homies to figure themselves out. So, bing, bada boom. We'll go ahead and save our bracket here. This is what we're looking at for our Weekend Wage bracket. We have Ziki waiting for the winner of Sausage Godwheat. Hit 'em Up and Crank, which is, of course, going to be our first matchup. How could it not be? that we cast on the stream. Then we have Arbiz Alexander, which is going to be hilarious, I'm sure. And Hamano Kutiam winners will face Newt and Ayud, respectively. So that should be an interesting setup there, for sure, for sure. So, time for me to get my overlay ready for our selected game. Hope you guys are going to join us for a very good time indeed. And it's just going to be beautiful, man. It's just going to be beautiful. Fun bracket. Yeah. Well, once you defeat him, you will be glorious. Just think about it. Okay, so Arbiz has selected Germination versus Alexander. Hit 'em Up has selected Knife's Edge versus Crankendow. And so I have hosted that map for us, and I will go ahead and get that overlay ready. Right. Okay. We're just gonna hope that that Hit 'em Up rocks up. I'll cast some spells in his name. You know, I'm a wizard.
I am a hero!
Hell yeah. How you doing, Dron? This is the last time you can lie about your race. Biased tour. Perhaps. Biased in, yeah. Biased in the favor of a fair fight. Crank, you would annihilate Hit 'em Up. Didn't you see him talking about how weak he is right now? You can just destroy him. You can walk over him. I gotta make the fight fair and even.
We got Zerg here.
Thanks for the Prime sub, Godwheat. Thank you for your support. Oh, okay. 3 Crowell admin. I can't tell if I can't tell what Sausage is doing. In favor of fun. Yeah. What's up, Newt? Like Mike Tyson mentioning he's a pacifist? Sure he is, but he's still pretty good job. Yeah. Sausage signs up and then runs away. By the way, the lobby is up. I don't know where the homies are. You see no lobby? Oh. I was probably in UDP by accident. It should be up now. Beautiful. Beautiful. This is going to be a glorious tournament. No. I can't wait. I can't wait. Ladies and gentlemen, we won't have to wait for much longer because our players are in the process of getting ready. Just have to update the overlay to indicate that it's weekend wage. I almost forgot about that. And of course that this is a best of one. Make it look all official-like. Readies have been exchanged, as well as some deep lore about clan tags or something. I guess they were German once upon a time. Let's go! We have Krankendow in the top left spawn, and he is the T-Green Zerg. Meanwhile, in the top right-ish, 3 o'clock spawn, we have none other than Hit 'em Up, who has rolled a Terran. A race he has a 92% win rate in, I think, is what I saw him calculate earlier. I don't remember. It's absurd. Hit 'em Up is the Light Olive. Beaster Brown Terran. There you go. First game of the weekend wage. What's up, Sopas? Yes, this is our technically this is our round 2, game 2, or whatever it is, a quarterfinal number 2, but they were seeded into this position because of their seed, and we only had 11 players, so we did not have we didn't have another round before this to get to the quarterfinal stage for these guys. These are the top seed dudes. These are number 4 in the tournament, Hit 'em Up, and number 5 in the tournament, Krankendow, by seeding. We've got Zeke, Ayud, and Newt, who are our top 3. It's Zeke 1, Newt 2, or Ayud 2, Newt 3. Those are our top 3 players, and they are awaiting their next opponent because they have a bye in the tournament. And after that, or before that, I suppose, we have the also-rans, shall we say. Arbuz as random, Hanmano as Terran, Sausage as Protoss, Godwheat as Terran, Kutiam as Terran, and Alexander as Zerg. So Alexander and Arbuz are dueling right now, and we have Godwheat and Sausage dueling, and Kutiam and Hanmano dueling. So Kutiam does have a something to do, so he's actually going to be a little bit late. We'll see if he can be here on time for his first match, otherwise Hanmano will just move forward. I haven't actually seen Hanmano say anything, though, so hopefully he's going to show up as well. Might be the battle of who can take a longer time to get to their PC, although it is quite late in Korea. Maybe he just snoozed, did what Hit 'em Up couldn't. Hit 'em Up's already got his 2 stockades out and is sending the Hurakan across the map with the Mason as support. Let's see if he can just end the game early on. I think with 4 pairs of Quas, Krankendow will be just fine. The Mason is here to try to add a little bit more DPS to the Larvosk, but it has to turn tail immediately. When those Quas start to attack, they become very pursuant and start to speed forward. Now, Crank's positioning on those units is a little bit harder to make it work, but he is going to be able to pick the Mason just fine. And back at home, we've got a bit of a line of Mavericks ready to shoot anything that moves, as long as it's not their beloved Ahmed. As the Hurakan returns home, we've got 3 larvae. Pretty good build order here for Krankendow, and it does look like we will be going into an expansion timing here pretty soon for Hit 'em Up, unless he wants to start adding to his production. He is adding some Cyprians. We'll see about that. One thing that I'm curious about is after the latest bout of changes to the game, from a meta standpoint, we've seen some pretty significant alterations to how the Terran matchups are going to go. Mostly because of the fact that they don't have Shaman Heal stacking anymore, but the Shaman Heal is more potent. So it's also, the Shaman itself is more expensive, but you only need 1 of them in order to get what you needed 2 before. So there's an open question as to whether or not that's a good move or not, or, you know, what that will look like as far as when Terrans adopt it. You can add a couple to your army and, you know, still benefit quite a bit, but you're only really getting the second one for redundancy. All right, Hit 'em Up is pushing forward with his Hurakan-led Maverick force. He has a couple of Cyprians bringing up the rear as well. A Circuit on the low ground, a Zorka Shroud behind it. That's clearly going to be the play for Krankendow. He's got a lot of Quas, and he's awaiting that Terran army moving down the ramp. This looked like a pretty initially good spot for Crank. I don't think Hit 'em Up can really do much in this position aggressively, but he's adding a 3rd stockade. His star pad is coming up, and his ministry will be completed as well. He's just going to set up his soft containment here, wait for the Lakids to push his forces back, and we'll see what he does from there. You're going to need to lead with the Zoryus, or perhaps with a bunch of the Quas, just to absorb a lot of the damage that would otherwise be turned towards the Lakids. I feel like with the way that the star pad is coming, you know, Hit 'em Up has read the presence of the Shroud anyway, and knew that he would have to deal with that. So the Zoryus kind of stumbles forward. It will be brought to a close relatively easily. Quick turnaround there. 11 points of health. Yeah, it will finally go down. and that's something that we were expecting for some time. But the Cyprians should be sitting ducks here, and indeed they do get eviscerated. So besides the Zorius going down and a handful of Quas, you could say that Crank is happy about that exchange. Now, I don't think he really could have kept the Zorius alive. It was sacrificial to bust through. He might have been able to keep a few more Quas behind it alive, but is that really that significant? Well, we're going to find out together as Hit 'em Up starts to fall back with his Mavericks. I think his army is just fine in this situation, as the Anseal will finish soon, but there might be a very brief window of time where Crank It Out can do something. Expanding behind it, so we know it's not an all-in position. He ain't my boy Thunderslaps, that's for sure. 4 Lakers are here. 1 more Zorius as well, likely to be brought down. Avoiding the Hurakan, I like that positioning quite a bit. And here's the Anseal to reveal those Lakers. You just cannot take that fight. I would have loved to see Crank It Out attempt it and just get a couple salvos off or whatever before the Unburrow, but it was not to be. And now he has to hurry home. Remember, if he loses those Lakers, he has almost nothing to defend the Bio Machine that's being assembled slowly but surely by Hit 'em Up. And this is one of the things that's a little bit different about the way that you go Lakers versus if you're going to go Bactyl as the Zerg player. If you go Hydrith into Bactyl, you have a little bit more ubiquitous frontline. You don't just have 1 or 2 Zorius in the early game. You also have the option to eventually go Bactyl and then obviously have a pretty steady force that can attack always, doesn't need to burrow. So there's a mobility advantage there. But the Lakers count is very good, that even to the point where if you have the Anseal, sure, that's one thing, but are you really going to make anything happen with regards to the Cyprian stack or the Mavericks that you got? In fact, he only has 4 Sips anyway. There's 75 minerals, 50 Vespine. Expensive little MFers, but they do the effing quite well. And there's the Vestry coming, so Hit 'em Up putting some faith into the single Shaman, as well as some Clerics. Clerics now boost armor by 2, so you end up with a Hurakan that has 4 armor charging in. I feel like the Lakers aren't as affected by that with their 12 damage. Of course, it also does return damage afterwards. Would love to see a burrow on that wounded Zorius. I feel like stuff like that could be pretty helpful. All right, and there's the Hydrith then. So we're seeing that mix of the tech nodes come into play. Wow, it's not a Shaman. It's 6 Clerics. All right, let's see if the Zerg can force the Terran army away. That's a bunch of Spine Salvos clearing a couple of the Cyprians, a couple of the Mavericks as well. None of the Zorius have gone down yet, so that works out all right. And the burrow on the retreat isn't as elegantly set up as he would have liked. Oh, wow. Zorius losing a lot of HP in the process of that. Whenever they get hit, they spawn a Rillarokor, the little broodling there that you see. So no surprises that we have a couple of those white dots occasionally, or T-green dots more specifically. Yeah, a lot of stockades off of the 2 bases. Maybe thinking about base number 3, but no minerals for it yet. Meanwhile, we do have a 1 Quaz just kind of patrolling out here in case there's some drops. A larger contingent closer to the resource line. Something that Crank It Out feels pretty strongly about. He's going to upgrade his den into that aforementioned tech structure he needs for the Bactylisks. Let's see. Ski back scab on the way. Also, making some Hydras are clearly saying that what he wants is something a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more mobile. The drop comes in, but doesn't do much. Anti-drop reveals it. Very quick reactions there as well from Krankendow. And the preemptive circuits, so that helps. Macro Hatch inside his 2-base gauntlet. And he will be attempting to take this mineral only. He knows that the Cyprians are at large, so there is a little bit of a risk here. Especially since this is something that Hit 'em Up sees. He's just going to start trying to gun it down. Now, you can run those down with Zorius just fine. That's not really a huge issue. He even ends up reborrowing the Lakers in the process. Now, the Zorius do end up mawing down one of the Cyprians. It's a horrifying way to go. Slowly bitten to death. Got a couple Fulcrums here, and there's another drop attempt. Now, he's going to unload it. It's mostly Hurakans. That's pretty deadly, not just for the circuit, but for the workers as well. Worker count much lower than what you would like to see. The attempted unload from the Cyprians, it doesn't do much over there, but he still did give quite a bit of ground over to himself. Bactyls are being morphed. We've got Bio churning through towards this 3rd base. Looking like Hit 'em Up in a good position to cancel this. Now, is he going to force the cancel? I think not. Yeah, Krankendow's going to try to fight around it. Now, he might be able to save it, but at what cost? A lot of balled up Cyprians over here. His Lakers can't get anywhere close to burrowing, and the Bactyls are drawn closer to where the Hurricanes are. They need to be focusing down that front line, which was left to run riot over the Bactyls, reducing their DPS, drawing their aggro. And now the Hatrosk has gone, so soaking up all that DPS is no longer a possibility. But Krankendow's gonna go for it and try his best using the Zoryus to put them in front of the Lakers. Look at the spine coverage. Beautiful from Krankendow to wipe that army. So it turns out that he does kill the army, but at the cost of his expansion, at the cost of a lot. And I mean a lot of Zerg. It's a huge gore pile. Meanwhile, behind it, do we have much of anything as the primary follow-up? In terms of army, it's mostly pure Maverick, but a Palladium is on the way. It will be Biotank to push forward in this matchup. Interesting place to take the composition. And a couple of these units being shot down before they had a chance to do much of assistance there. Stimming after the Zoryus I like, just because it denies the enemy one more thing they can put in between your Cyprians and anything else. But Cyprians are being invested into now, but there's none on the field in the moment. You've got a couple back at home, and that's it. Base number 3 has been set up in the meanwhile. We still maintain a very healthy worker advantage here from Hit 'em Up's perspective, but we are thinking about maybe taking more bases if we're Zerg. Obviously, a distance mine over here to the mineral only. Gas capping the ridge makes sense. The army is so small right now for the Zerg. Teched into this very, very tactical army where you do need the positional advantage as opposed to pure numbers. We might see that switch over if more infrastructure is dedicated towards it. But right now, I think the timer is how long it takes for, 6 phalanxes to march down, 2 rounds from the fulcrums, and that's basically everything that you need for a very deadly siege position. There's no air units available here for Crank. He has not gone for Vornath. He has gone for Skiback, but Skithricors do not help here. Bit of a Bioforce roaming around. I like to see that. Just going to go ahead and draw some of the initial attention away from the main saber that is beneath Krankendow's natural. The Anseal's spotting things out and revealing the phalanx. Just a little bit of a distraction here. Obviously, the vast majority of the army is off to this right-hand side. The Cyprians are actually doing some damage, funnily enough. That ended up doing a little bit more than I think even Hit 'em Up would have expected, but he's happy for the extra space. Krankendow giving up the option, conceding the ground. He needs those Lakers burrowed. This Maverick group is destined for death, but they get pulled back. Nothing is approaching the top glob of Bio. The Clerics were helping out for a brief time, but they have been left by the wayside at this point because Hit 'em Up doesn't need him. He's adding more now, but the rally directly into the Mavericks and the Cyprians. GG has got to be called, and that will be Hit 'em Up taking the first game as was foretold. All right, so that means that Hit 'em Up will await the winner of Zeki's match, which we do not know about yet. Let's go ahead and take a look. Only Hit 'em Up rolled any other race, RIP. You lived 7 minutes. Hey, that's pretty good. Oh, it looks like Godwheat versus Sausage is actually being adminned live. Hold on. I might be able to do some trickery here. All right, are you guys ready for this? This is gonna be funny. All right. Okay. Let me set up the. Hold on, guys. I gotta fix the overlay, of course. I also have to set the browser to draw from this. Here we go. Okay, so we've got the game audio while I get the overlay. Let me just double check. The map is Dyadic Shore, the map that Sausage is a fan of. We'll go ahead and get this set up and just kind of cast it, sort of ad-lib it from the beginning of the game. I'll do my best to figure out what's going on. I like that. I like that kind of thing. Very helpful that it's being live streamed, I'll tell you that much. Shout out to 3Crow for suddenly adminning. It is appreciated. All right, so we've got our overlay corrected, and now we can go ahead and do our casting. Sausage has, he's going up against Mech. Is it a surprise? Not really, but those phalanxes were not deployed for a long time there. Oh, a couple of long-range salvos, though. Godweed able to clean up some of those Dracs. What do we got to work with here on the side of Sausage? He's on to his third base on the way. Worker count slightly, just negligible, basically. Vultures on the way. One single stockade being produced back at home for Godweed. Looks like his saturation is in order. The Drac flank could come in handy here, but Sausage doesn't have that many units back at home, and that's definitely a big factor here. Instead, he can cut out reinforcements. Just swat away those Vultures. Probably the other ones don't have mines is the guess. Still occasionally using the melee actions here, and Ecclesias does go down. The Dracodons are trying to dive forward onto those phalanxes, but there's so many, they're so deep. I don't know that Sausage is going to be able to make that happen. He ends up losing quite a few in the process. He's got a few Amaranths in good places here to shield Stasane. You cannot stop me, says the Amaranth. Well, they turn into tank mode and then blow him away. But still, that was pretty cinematic. That was pretty good. And now some Zealots come in to clean it up after the fact. Peruvian internet striking again, by the way. Classic. So I do feel like with the way that this is going, obviously we've got a lot of phalanxes coming up here for Godweed, not just on the screen, but also in production. He's making 4 at a time. So double prostration stage makes a lot of sense here for Sausage. He can go for like sycophants. He can go for pariahs is most likely an option. He might just end up saying, screw it, I'm going to go, Mind Tyrant Cantavis. But he needs to saturate the gas inside his natural. Do we have any tech development here for Godweed? A Vestry add-on? That's basically it. We'll get to count his production here now. 4 Fulcrums, and it looks like just the 1 Stockade. Mostly queued up Vultures behind those Phalanxes, knowing he needs a little bit more. This is Starcraft 1 player right here. That's what Godweed is being. Brood War approach. Double Crucible for Sausage. What is he empowering? I guess his main base gateways and his natural prostration stages. That's pretty impressive stuff. Grand Library will also get the boon. He's got a lot of melee, which I think is a good adjustment, because Cyclops will do a friendly splash, Phalanx deals friendly splash, your Vultures will deal friendly stun. Yeah, I mean, you're not going to be able to do much here in this situation, I feel like. Attempted micro. The melee is doing an outsized impact, forcing an unsiege. Now, this is where if you had the Dracodons still on standby, you would sweep in here and kill a bunch of those phalanxes or force them to consider sieging again and then dive backwards. But we don't have that. Sausage is actually kind of up against it right now. He's got a much better economy with that third base, but his military count is non-existent right now. He has double he's transitioned with the double prostration stage. Then he spent more money on double Crucible. And the attack is coming in. Can Godweed bring the hammer down before that gets activated? That's the question. I love the Potentate adding in here. Obviously, people are going to be like, Pronogo, that unit is useless. But here in this situation, the Potentate serves as, obviously it just dies to Phalanxes there. But the Potentate serves as this opportunity to get a lot of steady initial damage dealt with the ranged attack. It's a stand-in for the Dracodons, right? But he just doesn't have enough units, dude. He is just going to die to all of the Phalanxes. We've got more steady units pushing in here. Mind Tyrants are on the way. They are way too late. If he hadn't lost all those Dracodons at the start of that fight that we saw earlier, I think Sausage could have maybe swung on in. This is a foreign style to him. He doesn't play StarCraft 1, dude. He doesn't play Brood War. He plays Cosmonarchy. GG. That is going to be it. All she wrote for that particular matchup. Hey, where am I? Can anybody tell me? Pow! Hi. All right, so that was an interesting game. That is exactly what I expected. Exactly what I expected. No, actually, I thought Sausage would give. I did give him the higher seed there. So ever since that reverse sweep that Sausage performed, it's pretty good. Pretty good. Okay. So let's take a look at the bracket. So give me 1 second here. I have to hand... clearly, the format is a little bit confusing, so... I'll link the bracket for 3, Chris, so you can see it. So we had Alexander drop to Arbiz. Now that's a Newt Facer. So we had Sausage get dropped by Godweed. Okay. And let's take a look down here. Frank can host his map pick. He had no unit. He did not make unit. That's true. That's true. I decloaked in your mineral line. That's true. That's also true. Okay. Okay. Let's go ahead and I just had to pause some stuff in the background there. He had no unit, dog. He didn't make unit. So we're going to wait on Zeki's map pick. Zeki has selected Crisis Vector to play against Godweed, of course. Would it be any other map? Come on. So I still haven't heard back from Han Mono. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to have to give Kutyam the victory there since it's been 30 minutes. 31 minutes, technically. That means that Kutyam... Oh, wait. Hold on. Han Mono is here. He's typing. Oh, he's playing in another tourney. If you are free in 30 minutes, we can have you play in... Okay, so that means that Ayud, you can host versus Kutyam. Yeah, Kutyam got it. Kutyam got it. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and get into our next matchup here. I'm just going to go ahead and preemptively get ready. I got to tweak some stuff here, and I'm assuming we are going to need... Oh, wait. Yeah, okay, I like that better. All right, so we are gonna adjust. I had to adjust the in-game latency compensation, but I'll take care of my overlay and stuff in a moment here as well. And we'll go to Crisis Vector because, of course, we have to go to Crisis Vector. You know what I'm saying? And we are good to go. So here we are, ladies and gentlemen. We have ourselves an interesting match here. Oh, I forgot to change the icon for Godweed, though. So, too bad, so sad. He's Zerg now. Sorry, dude. You got to play ZVZ versus the Zeker. All right, Zeki is in the top left. Homie Zeki. What is this, fern green? Asparagus. Oh, no, his pee's going to stink. And down here in the bottom right, we have Godweed, who seems to be the lemon. But it was saffron. Oh, no, his pee's going to stink. And this is a Zerg versus Terran. Godweed going to go Fulcrum open. And Zeki going to go Hydrith open. So, back in the day, I was told that Hydrith counters Fulcrum really hard. And that's one of the many reasons why Terran's players want to go Bio. But Zeki likes it versus Bio as well. He just likes Izira cores. We'll see what he wants to do against this, because this is a 2-Fulk opener. If you just have access to Hydras really early on, that could really screw things up for you. We will have to see. We'll have to see how it goes. The Zeker versus the Veker. That would be pretty cool, wouldn't it? That'd be really cool. All right, so second larva spawner is now up for Zeki. Going for his 3 Izira core follow-up to the 1 Hydra. Now, does Godweed even have a conception of this? I actually don't know. If he looks at this, then does he actually think, like, oh yeah, Hydra, I should change my game plan. Maybe he's just going to go Mass Cyclops. We'll see. Expansion pretty quickly here for Zeki. Mines laid somewhat defensively. Pranked. I feel like that Vulture was Godweed. He came into the situation with a game plan. and something very different happened. And he was just like, all right, never mind, and then turned around. You know, that felt like a Godwheat vulture. Not that it was his vulture, that he was the vulture. Anyways, doubling down, or I guess tripling down. Third Fulcrum on one base. This is going to be a very sharp timing. No scouting here for our Zerg player either, so it feels like he's going to use the Ovaleth. This one's for Hit 'em Up's Immortal Soul. Ziki will probably be bemused by this. I feel like the Cyclops spam, if that's what this is going to be, it has potential, but I don't know. I think Zerg can handle it. Can Ziki handle it? Let's find out. His expansion's done. He can go for some more larvae soon. But most importantly, he's got a lot of Iziricors. I feel like Iziricors should be the natural enemy of Cyclops, given enough quantity. And it's going to be a triple Izzy drop. Oh, he's not going to have that many units here to defend this initial push. But it's only 5 Cyclops. How much damage can they really do? He's not even making drolls right now, right? He's not drolling up at all. So this actually bodes pretty well for him since he's marshaling his military. Expansion coming very late here for Godweek compared to what we normally see. And byproduct of that third Fulcrum, producing non-stop Cyclops. It does take more effort to produce them now because of their extra time cost. So they come on in, just waltz on in, just say, hey, how are you? And meanwhile, we have the Ovaleth. It's coming in. It's going to drop somewhere. You know, surely Ezekiel's not going to give up the structure. He sees that there are no mines here. Oh, I don't know. He might actually be giving up the structure, but the drop is here. Godwheat, you're on screen. You're on stream, Godwheat. What's your reaction going to be? Apparently, your reaction is nothing. Your Cyclops are being torn asunder on the other side. The Hatcherosk was down to 100 health. And now you're down to... Oh, no workers. Oh, dear, the Cyclops are not helping the workers. In fact, they are hindering the workers. And every single Iziricor escapes. Oh, 70 life. I can't believe it. Actually, JK, I can't believe it. But you know what, Godwheat? We got to watch it in 4K. Well, not really, in 1080p, but, you know, the same thing. AI upscale it. That's the answer to everything these days. Got some wigglers. Zerg here. I feel like with this 70 life hatch, I don't know. When you're up against the pro player, I mean, you got to try some tactics. But I do find it somewhat suspicious that Godwheat said that this one's for Hit 'em Up's Immortal Soul, and then proceeded to lose. Like, what's he trying to do? Curse him, man? That's what Shambler does. Shambler does the curses. Let's see if we can do anything here. The Ovaleth providing detection shows where the lobotomy mines are. So they don't provide too much value just yet. We do have the triple Iziricor drop waiting. He actually recalls those Cyclops that were watching for it. So mission accomplished for Ziki. Does he piece it together? Base number 3 coming for him. He's got... I can't believe how low that hatch is. And there it is. Our ski-back scab has been complete. This is probably going to just straight up be Bactals here on the front line. Oh shit, we got 3 Crow, we got Cullen in here too. What the hell? There's so many homies. All right, the drop got sort of shooed away by these mech units, and it looks like the initial faux containment has been broken. Oh, Ovaleth is committing. There's not that many Masons to kill, honestly. I mean, he's going to go for it. He'll have to unload, and so he shall. He actually unloads only one of the Iziricors, then scoots the other one back up. Oh no, he's not going to get out though. That's too bad. That would have been swagger. That would have been like, hey buddy. Actually, if he had kept the other one out, he would have kept one alive at the very least, and then kept the Ovi alive too. But not going to happen. You guys think we should, you know, I was talking about how, like, I accidentally, so Iziricor is how you would say that, but I kept saying Izzy, and now I've changed it to Izzy. Like, I've corrected my own pronunciation, right? But do you guys think we should also change the pronunciation of Ovaleth to Ovaleth? It's harder, it's, like, weirder to say for me. Like, my default is Ovaleth, but Ovaleth would be, like, Overlord, right? So a bit more people would be able to say that correctly, or you could still say Ovi correctly. Kind of like how you can still say Hatch, even though I changed the spelling and changed the word. Yeah, anyway. Ovaleth. I gotta say that like 5 times faster or something. And maybe Zerg will appear in my mirror. I think the Tetzoricors are going to shut this down, but there's a lot of Cyclops. So even though we've been bagging on Godweed all game long, he might have just pushed the make unit button, you know what I mean? He has no economy to follow this up, so this attack gets crushed. He's got no hope. And in fact, it does appear to be getting crushed, as he has no way of disabling those Tetzoricors. He needed the mines. He needed something, but he can't. You need the most, but you get the least. I'll just throw Guar lyrics occasionally in my casting. Cestus on the way. We do have a scrapyard. We haven't made any Matadors yet. That would be a good option here. Starpad is done as well. I guess technically Godweed is not dead, but with the Apex strains available, as the Tetzoricors are here, I mean, I'm not so sure, guys. I'm not so sure. Extra hatch. Yeah, Godweed's Peruvian, didn't you know? JK. Honestly, Peruvians are probably always going to be known as having bad internet because back in the heyday of StarCraft, they did have really bad internet. Like 2008 and so on. But the alternative is Canadian internet. And we do talk about Canadian internet too. And Godweed is Canadian. So that's a very distinct possibility that it was him the whole time. Wow, 4 bases coming up for Zeke. Is he going for a 5th? Of course he is. The spirit of Han Mono lives on. Just take every base on the map. Well, do you want to try to step out here? The Matadors still haven't fought. Oh, he's retreated over the mines. Cestus is going to add some armor here, making the Tetzoricor attacks a little bit less powerful, but I don't know if it really matters, man. I think this is a bust, and I don't even know if Zeke was particularly trying for it. Oh, drop in! He stunned the Cyclopses and the Trojans. It's over. Zerg have arrived here, actually. Zerg are here on your side of the map, in your base, in your natural. GG. Zeke will take the match. And that means that he moves on to face none other than Hit 'em Up. Finally! Finally, we get to see Hit 'em Up versus Zeke. In a ranked match. I have waited so long for that. What about Nat Blyman? It's Australian internet. Yeah, I feel like that's like so bad that it rolls back over. You can't talk about it. It's like that's just rude. You know what I mean? The script is script. God is fake. Hit 'em Up's response to facing Zeke. Green Eggs likes Ovaleth more. Okay, interesting. Good to know. Hey, occasionally I just throw some stuff out there every now and then. Let's check in with the live broadcast for 3 Crow and see if he's got anything going on. It's still going. There's still a game going on Acid Test between our other TVZ matchup in our quarterfinal. Ultra Cores are out in that game with Arbiz. He's cleaning up some stuff for what Nude has here. It's 3 base. I don't know. It looks like it's just going to be a bloody game for a little bit. Oh my god, Arbuz he pressed the Gorg button. Beautiful. I think I have to jump to this next game real quick, so I'm not going to like formally cast it and all that stuff, but I've just given you guys some updates. I can't tell, honestly. It feels like Arbuz is he's floating some money, that's for sure. He's definitely under some problems, having some issues. I think he might be pretty close to the breaking point here, so we're probably going to have to give that one to Newt. Have to declare Newt the winner. Elsewhere, we have also declared another winner. It will be Cranking Down, moving on beyond Alexander. He'll play the winner of Godwheat versus Han Mono. So that's that. Vicky is here now. Yeah, it looks like I'm what? Yeah, I just saw the GG get tossed out there, so there you have it. Okay, we are going to get into our next matchup here. It will be... Oh, I have to update the map, actually. Very interesting. Okay. So, we're going to go to Battle Spectre for our next matchup. And that will be a very interesting one. Because whilst we have Zeke in the top left as our... is he just... No, he's not... I don't actually know what this color is. I'm going to say white, though. It's Platinum. There you go. Platinum Zerg. In the bottom right is our green Protoss. Hit him up. Let us open and hit him up on a cross-spawn forced map. Very interesting. So, with the pool coming for Zeke, he's clearly got a different approach to this matchup. And we'll see what Hit'em Up wants to do. Is he's going to send a fairly early scout to confirm what Zeker is doing. That's pretty interesting. All right, so... I'm really curious about this. I think that the pool is going to be a leapfrog into Den. But we'll find out together as a simulacrum is on the way and a second lattice as well. Hit him up. What are you cooking? Cook him up. Let's see. It's only Zeths right now. Uh-oh, hit him up. Left is Scribe idle. Rookie StarCraft 1 mistake. You can't really get away with the Zeths because they have the speed by default, so it's a bit different anyway. So it's just going to be a bunch of sims to start off with. I wonder what Hit is cooking. I wonder what Hit will be doing. Rogue Gallery. Okay. So this is going to be something non-standard. This is going to be something with a little bit of cheat. I feel like the way that Zeke's approaching is just to make a bunch of pool units to survive and then go for an expansion. That does make sense. Oh, I got pranked. What did I get pranked by so early, I wonder? Well, the other guys didn't say anything, so maybe it's only me. That is a distinct possibility. Some hash. Hyper hype. 11 minutes against Crank. Pretty good, Alex. Pretty good. Unfortunately for me, we've got Aoud versus what is it? Aoud versus Newt on the other screen. So that's going to be obsed by 3Crow. So I will be denied looking at one of the semifinals, but he is live streaming it, so I can cast it from that later, depending on how this game goes. So far, it doesn't seem like that actually changed anything, but we'll keep an eye out on things because when that error prints out, usually that's a signal. Zets are coming in to be pretty pesky, and the Quas are also unloaded. There is a Warden here, which prevents it from doing too much damage, I think. Avaleth can also get in the way of the idol there, which is pretty interesting. Protoss army moving across the map on the other side of things. The Vagrant arrives. The idol actually, they're testing the wrong things. Hit up going to be microing multiple fronts here. A lot of Quas, a lot of Zets. Let's see what happens, because still this cheeky little skirmish over here with the idol of shots getting absorbed, and now engages the Zerg army as they try to push forward. The Sims are doing their best, but I think they're going to get overwhelmed here. It looks like back at home, everything is clear for the Protoss. But I don't think Hit'em Up's going to be able to do his little pressure move the way that he wanted to. He's got a Kabbalist in there, raking havoc. That's already 5 frags on him. And, oh, hold on. He might actually, he's cooking something here, guys. If he can reinforce at any point, that would be one thing. Obviously, the Sims are supposed to reinforce themselves a little bit. And that's exactly what he's trying to do as he kites backwards. The Kabbalist going after the Larvos, he's already killed a bunch of larvae in the process. And now he's just trying to do his best to commit all of the Zerg's army away from things. 2 more fully powered shots onto that Larvos, and it's dead, by the way. He just needs two swings no matter what. But holy moly, that was tight. So, Ziki gonna have to build back up from a very modest point. Reinforcements are coming. It looks like Hit'em Up is getting ready to do things. Oh, unfortunately, the Larvos stays alive for him. Pool units are so cheap. You can get a lot with a little. But I think he's gonna need more to deal with all the idols. He has no Circuit either. That's like the real killer thing here. Got good larva production. He's just making a lot of Zets. Hold on. This is still very much doable. But with the Nexus coming in now for Hit'em Up, that's kind of the timer. Down goes the Avaleth. It was killed earlier. The committal directly on top of those Sims. Remember, that's where the idols can get a lot of their value, but they're getting sniped away by some of the Quas. I think maybe Ziki's made enough. Remember, he's got just a few more coming. As far as reinforcements go, he needs to keep up on top of them. And the Sims just keep on duplicating. Oh, he doesn't actually have that much in reserve. Only a few Quas coming. He made his Shroud a long time ago. He hasn't been able to make a single unit out of it. Units are too expensive. This one might be it. We've got Vagrants on the front lines of very cost-efficient units with their second life, and that is going to crush Ziki. GG. Hit'em Up has done it. Wow. Okay. So, not the, 30-minute macro bonanza I was hoping for, but honestly, that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. So that means that Hit'em Up moves on to the upper final. You know how it is. I hope 3Crow didn't host the other game on pre between Godweed and Sausage, because that would have been that's pretty bad. Annihilated. All right. So... Okay, it looks like actually... It's all fine. It's all fine. That was still done. That was done the right way. So, let me take a look at some of these other matches. It looks like Aoud Newt still hasn't started. Sausage, Kutyam... Okay. And then, I guess... we have Han Mono here. Let's do it that way. Yeah, okay. Hamano DQs. Godwheat is facing Crank. Yes, I will host. Yeah, let's do Aod versus Newt. I like that idea. Also, what did Aod pick? Or did Aod even pick? Let me see. Aod is a second seed, yeah. Hold on, let me see if maybe they joined since. Okay, yeah, they already started, so never mind. Why is Godweed so dumb? Why? I know he's being dense on purpose, but why would you choose to be dumb? God damn. Hit him up once to make a DoorDash order. If you guys do want to watch Aod versus Newt, I guess I could just cast it from his stream. These people are being clowny. Clowny, I say. So Newt is making vultures and is playing versus Newt is making vultures and playing versus Aod's Protoss. Aod is making a Nexus and Dracodons. That's my update.
This individual is a fraud.
God has forsaken me.
What a message to give yourself when you resub. Thank you, Edamup. I really like that Thorin quote. That's such a good soundbite. It even sounds like he's saying it in a way that's like celebratory almost, or like at least like with magnanimity. You know, magnanimity. There's some pretty good shit there. What a massacre. Yeah, Newt's getting annihilated. I mean, Ayud's getting annihilated. Alright. How does one find the bracket? It is occasionally on screen, but also I will post the link. I just posted the link earlier, but now the link evades me. Eludes me. Deludes me. Confuses me. I'm taking back my ranking. Why is Ayud toss? He just didn't want to play Terran, I guess. I don't know. Wanted to have some variety. No, no, no. Bad. Bad dog. Bad. Medium is old high. Always want it on low if you're going to have it on anything at all. Oof, that's so much. All right. Cranking on the bottom left is our maroon Zerg. And in the top right, cross spawns on Blackwater Bastion, a 4-spawn map by Biddy B. We've got Godwheat, who is Alice Blue. There you go. Alice Blue time. Okay, so we have a stockade build. We have Frank going for his Kagrant Pool Larvosk build, as was foretold. That is just his general style. He will be up against the Mason, the betrayer of the party. Okay, not that one. Godway's just going to move around. If there had to be a Mason who wasn't 3-Crow, I feel like Godway would be an acceptable Mason. What do you guys think? 3-Crow can't respond to this right now because he's busy watching Ayud. Okay, good timing. Good timing. So, our Larvosk is completeth. And we have the pool coming pretty soon. It will be a triple stockade. That must be why he said brain old, wrist hurt. He's like, oh, I gotta control all these Mavericks? 3-Crow's far from an acceptable base. Devastated. Annihilated. I hope that he redeems himself on the first mission with you guys. That would be wonderful. It will be a very fast vestry here for Godwheat. We'll see what he wants to do with that, as his Mason has found the cross scout, or has it? Oh, there's 2 random Zethar cores just chilling. Great scout denial by Crank. Get you guys up to speed on how the rest of the bracket has gone as the Zethar core attempts to sneak in. It's going to confirm no expansion on location. This is about the timing you'd have that too, so would make sense. The top half of the bracket is dialing into a close. The winner of Ayud versus Newt, which is still ongoing, is going to be dueling against Hit'em Up in the upper final. Meanwhile, in the lower bracket, we have Sausage versus Kutyam happening right now. We have, of course, our own very matchup here, Frankendow taking on Godwheat. And the winner of Sausage Kutyam goes up against Arbuz. After that, winner of that match will go up against Ziki. Likely an Arbuz-Ziki rematch, but I could see I could see it working out. I could see it being cool and epic and in a different way. Shroud all the way. We've got the Hatcherosk also coming down here for the Zerg's expansion. I think with the Shaman on the way as well. It's a very expensive purchase this early into the game. Godwheat clearly going for some kind of power move. I think with the Shaman healing plus the Cleric providing some much-needed anti-deeps, anti-DPS. You're always a little suspicious of the Terran if you scout the Cleric early enough. You're like, what's going on here? What's happening? Well, what's happening is the Shaman is coming to fruition shortly. We could see a Hit'em Up Ziki rematch, and the last 4 matches of this tournament are all best of 3. So the upper final will be best of 3 between Hit'em Up and whoever wins versus Ayud and Newt. The grand final, best of 3. Lower final, best of 3. Lower semi-final, best of 3. We not rematch? I don't know. Somebody would have to fight you and lose to you, and then fight and lose to Ziki. So, or no, they'd have to beat Ziki. I just don't know if that's gonna happen, man. Although it is a volatile format with it being best of ones, so we shall see. No warm-up act for Ziki. Not enough players. Only 11 of y'all. I do appreciate everybody who popped in here. Shaman has arrived. Hurakan's trying to rend the armor. Could definitely do some damage here. The Lakers are already out, though. Trying to go after that Shaman. The Cleric can try to heal it up, but it's just left out there by the wayside. Utter mulch. There was no point of transition for Godwheat here. His extra Mavics are coming on in, but some of them not even shooting. The Cleric getting focused down. Sure, you bled the Zerg dry of its units, but you didn't do any economic damage. And you yourself did not grow economically. You're still supposed to be up workers versus the Zerg by this point, so he invests into another Shaman. By the way, if he builds a third Shaman, that means he could have teched up. Fourth Stockade. 3 Lakers, 2 Zorius. 4 Lakers on the way for Crank. Bolster his existing count. It would feel wrong for Krankendow to be felled by the Weed of God at this stage of the tournament. Loser of this match is out, because these are still best of ones, and this is an elimination game. Pretty interesting situation to be in. Anti-drop static defense makes a lot of sense. We even have the star pad complete and a 5th stockade on the way. Shaman has deployed. Oh, wow, he actually could have teched up. Look at that. People already calling Crank the winner. Godwheat has taken some impressive scalps before, particularly in Weekend Wage. Although, has he taken them on stream? No. No, he has not. But he's a persistent fella. Random Quaz? Pulled my whole army back. Alright, never mind. So, the Zorius are coming out. The Lakers are here. Oh my god. This is Crank, alright. 8 Lakizilisks. Beautiful. Alright. Tries to drop the Shaman. Needs to pull it away a little bit. There you go. Try to go after it. I can see the Zorius is getting shredded eventually, but the Hurakans are on the back. The Akhmeds were in the back line. They're supposed to be part of the front line. Oh, heavens. Well, this isn't turning into a one-shot adventure, that's for sure. Zerg here. Yeah. Each one of these Shamans is 200 minerals, 200 gas, by the way, so... They are keeping themselves healed up, sort of. It's hard for the Zerg army to catch them, honestly. Oh, but he forgot to micro them. They're both gonna blow up! He forgot to micro them, so they just wandered away and died. Oh, no. He starts another one. Well, he's got enough money. I guess he can do that. See you in 30 seconds. Cranking that bearing down on him. The lake is just spining everything to death. Oh, heavens. The spines go haywire. The Lakers are having their fun. Now, what does the Terran even do in this situation? Really, they mostly just keel over and die. There's no mech, and there's no Cyprian count either, so how is he going to try to step to these Lakers, even with the detection? He would need to be microing sublimely with his Anseal, and I just don't think he's going to be able to do that. Well, Shaman is out. His last-ditch effort. And now he's dead in the ditch with it. Oh, actually, the Shaman survived for a very long time there. I'm surprised. His APM hasn't fallen yet. He is still holding on to hope. But he's literally getting spawn camped. GG. And that, my friends, is where Godweed's story ends. Cranking Down moves on, forward into the bracket. And that means that we get to report that next game there. Let's see. Is this match still going? It is still going on. We are 15 minutes deep in the other match. I guess we'll go ahead and get ready to check that out. Okay, let's go ahead and do that. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have on our screens here the continuation of a game between Newt and Aud64. And you can see Newt is getting ransacked on the top right. There's a bunch of stuck Trakedons, of course. The classic. A lot of gateways, though. Aud going gateway man here, stuck on 2 bases for a very long time, it would seem, since unless that third is recently deceased. But he is setting something up. Yeah, that is actually his only active base coming now. Oh, shit. He's got to reset the scribes there. He's got a lot of Drax. He is going Drakman. Hold on. His army is huge. And Newt only has a couple of Phalanxes by the looks of things. Yeah, I don't think that's going to be nearly enough. Got a couple coming in from the top rope. That might help out quite a bit more than you would think, just because the split of the Drax means that they're not focus firing the things in the way that they would be most efficient. But I mean, after that, you know, it was like 36 army for Aud and 30 for Newt, and now it's 26 for Newt and 28 for Aud. Like, you're happy with that trade in this situation. Can you break into positions? Probably not. He's going to go after this 12 o'clock base. I don't think that that's going to be working out for him, though. I have a feeling this Gateway army is going to get absolutely shellacked. Hierophant's being deconstructed by Masons, and we've got plenty of action from those anchors as well. I don't think anything's in that top one, though. Can he actually break through all of the mech on the low ground? The Phalanxes don't seem like they've moved up here. The Masons are getting active in the battle, though. That other anchor can be, you know, actually garrisoned now, and yeah, he's got to fall away from that, surely. Newt must have, what? He's just got all of this off a double star pad and looks like 7 Fulcrum by the production tab. Aud v Newt made it to 3 base, but he is basically dead now. It's been Cyclops Man versus Drakman for 15 minutes straight. I believe that. If only he had 3 extra Drax, you know? three crows coping with his brother. Not the Zoomer meme meaning of cope either. Just like, you know, trying to genuinely cope with reality there. Inner 12 being taken is not something you see every day on this map, so that's pretty cool. Jujuk has probably seen that part of this map be taken like 3 times. And it came out a long time ago. Anseal's draining their energy to shield those Phalanxes underneath. So I feel like with the Cyclops having their time in the sun as well, I mean, the Drak count is still pretty respectable. We're making 7 around. 1,000 Vespene indicates just how much Aud is invested into pure army, and that's a humongous stun onto those Drax, but it's only Vultures to try to punish, not even any Cyclops, really. There's like 1 in the back. It's not even really attacking much. So the Drax will be all right here. They'll just trade backwards. No Phalanxes in that natural choke. We got a base attack at 12 o'clock with Zealots and Drax. Not really a whole lot here. The Zealots are happy to absorb some of that Cyclops splash damage. And down will go that anchor. Evacuation attempts occurring to that inner 12 base. A lot of Cyclops left. It looks like it was 22 Masons. And yeah, even the Ministry is going to get evacuated here. Well, there's a lot of map control in like the southern, western part of the map there for Newt. That's interesting. I actually don't know what we're going to see from... I don't actually know what we're going to end up seeing from Aud's transition. If there is going to be a tech transition at all, he is getting his 3rd base. His economy is 30 workers to the worst for what Newt has. So he's definitely been, you know, holding out for dear life. Newt adding a lot more phalanxes now. We started to see some zealots sprinkled in. They can work wonders in the right quantities. Base number 4 being taken in the top right. That's where Newt was trying to take a base earlier. Abandoned all hope of taking 6 o'clock, it seems like. More phalanxes garrisoning this inner 12. Cyclops drop at the 3 o'clock base makes it very difficult here. Aeud's going to need to evacuate, and indeed does. Nothing here to defend that. He's going to cycle some units over, but he's got nothing at the natural. Either just one matrix, that's not going to be enough. Doesn't look like he's got great saturation over here, must be said. Yeah, you need to get those scribes out of there, man. Oh my god, what you enjoy in mineral efficiency, you pay for in splash efficiency for the other guy. And down will go the Trojan, but that was after, what, like 8 scribes go down. Already down 30 workers, now it's closer to 50. Oh my god, dude. He's actually down 54 workers. That's so wild. Well, maybe top right can help bridge the gap a little bit. But that's really only keeping him even in terms of base count, not in terms of actual economy. It doesn't matter how many bases you have if you don't have workers mining there. Saving gas for the game versus you, says Crank. Might be. Zealot's going to lead the charge into Cyclops. Pretty good unit versus Cyclops in small quantities like this. You can see that the Ant Seals are trying to do their best to shield, but they take the splash damage as well, so all of them are dead. And this is the weaker spot to actually be attacking in right now, so that's pretty good. That's great target selection there from Aeud, giving him a little bit of tactical breadth here. He's going to have a couple Zealots wander in and get absolutely smoked. Maybe a couple Phalanxes go down to some friendly splash. That seems to be the extent of it. But still, forcing off the 12 o'clock position is pretty good. Saw a little bit of some sort of combat ping over there inside the main base of Newt. I'm not sure what that's about. Pylon block! The pylon block is legendary, dude. I'd put in a few more just in case, you know, for good measure. That Drac army is still muscling through. Newt is really... he's trying to push some of his army over, but... yeah, the Ant Seals are there to defend against that. I think the Dracs have to fall back here. They will die to all those Phalanxes on the bridge. But, he, you know, Aeud can take his victories here. Like, he has denied mining at another base. You know, maybe 9 o'clock gets taken there by Newt. It's not entirely available or clear. Zealot and, yeah, just pure Gateway army. Zealot Draken and a couple of Ecclesias pushing in on the front lines. That anchor was empty. It was a fake. We got Drakenins on the high ground ranging down some of the workers and, most importantly, some of the Phalanxes. They actually need to get activated there to share the wealth of their damage. Instead, they're going after the worker count, and Drakenins take a long time to kill those. Dude, what is Aeud doing? This is a protest on Vespian. All right, well, Newt's going to evacuate the ministry. No, that wasn't intentional. That wasn't... No, 3 crow... Okay, I was going to tell him to check all of the ministries because he might have hit the lift key on everything. I don't think so, though. Oh, he did. Holy shit, he did. He lifted every single ministry, bro. No. Well, big drop, Mondo drop coming. This is where Aeud's army is. Dude, what? He must have flown over something while we weren't looking. Oh, that's a tilter. That is a tilter. Newt, I think Newt might have beat himself in this game. Dude. He might have ruined his own mind. Everybody called him out. Everybody said, "Hey, you got no hope in this game, dude. Just pack it up." And you know what? Newt's thinking about packing it in as well and pushing all of those Phalanxes forward. There is a big push coming. The lobotomy mines will slow down the counter army on the other side. Aeud knows he can't stand to the mech army in its current form, so he's going to instead set his sights on clearing the bases. And one advantage of taking Inner 12 is it's pretty quick rotation away from denying that 3 o'clock spot that has been so crucial to Aeud's capacity in this game. A couple of lobotomy mines self-stunning those Phalanxes is not ideal. And he's going to get right on top of these Phalanxes. There's like a vulture and an anchor. Who cares? Ant Seals come back. Well, that would have been a good opportunity there. Doesn't clear that Phalanx. Okay, now he does. Bridge seems to be a point of death here for Aeud. He is going to need to evacuate that Strider army. He doesn't want to lose it for free, but he was trying to actually fight while a bunch of Cyclops explosions were going off in his rear end. A very unpleasant reality for him. Anseal's now squirming over, seeing if they can't protect the Ministry. That would be a good move, but it looks like maybe it's not going to matter. It will get out with plenty of HP to spare. It just might burn a little bit. But that does commit the army fully. And that is a potential loss there for Aoud. He does not have the same military force that he had before. Losing out on the mining there as well at the 3 o'clock, and he can't transfer the workers. The phalanxes will just clean them up. So the army's moving over to clear out those artillery units. He's going to take as long as he needs to finish this area off as well. I think Newt is stabilizing a little bit, but he's depleted inside his natural, which means you must expect he's depleted inside the main base. His tier 2 is done. That's what I thought the Binny Papping was actually being finished. I thought it was being started. Yeah, he's depleted everywhere. He's got a bunch of idle masons kind of hanging out there inside the main base, but I'm sure he'll figure it out later. Then he'll lift his ministry again. A couple Anseals going down. It's just a pure Strider army. It does get outscaled by the Phalanx eventually, and Newt also has tier 2, but oh my god, 2,000 Vespine, 3,000 for Aoud. These players are not spending their banks. Phalanx is on a bit of a goose chase. They might end up discovering the pocket base in the top right, a single Zealot arriving to heckle the 12 o'clock. Recro is choosing to use the minimap drag for observing. I don't know about that. I'm pretty bad about that too, though. I move the camera around dizzyingly, I'm sure. I gotta try to tighten that up going forward. And that's a New Year's casting resolution, or observing resolution, I guess. Cyclops did a lot of friendly fire to the Anseals there, but it does look like the Terran army is still capable. And there's another attack routing over towards that inner 12. Yeah, you're not going to be able to get rid of that, so instead he's just going to try to pick as many Anseals as he can. Dancing around in the fire of the Cyclops, and eventually his army does get toasted. But this ministry is in danger, and might have to evacuate. Instead, it looks like the Draconids are going to go after the workers, maybe a couple phalanxes here and there. More reinforcements coming in as well, moving over towards the natural. That could be kind of ugly. Although Newt doesn't have that money in the way of like actual harvesting going on there. Big stun onto the army. If he loses these phalanxes, it's going to be a little bit annoying for him at the very least. What a scrappy game, dude. Remember when Artosis was casting a match in the ASL recently, and he said that it was a slobber knocker of a game. That's what this feels like. It's just wicked back and forth and very low tier stuff. Like, Newt has tier 2 complete. He has a captaincy. He has not made units out of it. It's taking him all of his mental acuity to stay focused and stay alive, and now he's going to discover the top right base and think, God damn it, you had this base the whole time. Yep, he sure did. Cyclops and Vultures are going to try to organize some sort of attack, but without the Phalanx backing, they will be picked apart by Draconids. There's even more Draconids coming over there. They clear 2 Phalanxes by themselves. What's the Phalanx count for Newt right now? I think he's only got like 2 over here. He might have some on the high ground there. We don't know yet. Yeah, they're going to go ahead and unpack. That's a little bit more, but I honestly still think that's a killable amount for the Gateway army that Aoud has. He once again attacks. His 1 madcap was made by the captaincy. That's it. Newt, my guy, hasn't looked at his main base in a while. Might have forgotten he even had tier 2 by this point. He's just been macroing off the production. He's got a big idle mason stack. Gonna go ahead and evacuate them from 12 o'clock just as the attack comes in. And the Zealots, well, they fall a little flat trying to push into that Cyclops spoke just below the inner 12. And once again, 9 o'clock evacuated, the Ministry floating over, this time in less danger. 12 o'clock also denied. His 1 mining base that isn't depleted is inner 12. That's it. He's just sent off a couple of units to try to clear top right. Meanwhile, the Cyclops trying to commit onto the Draconids, which are going to try to share the love, share that splash damage. Well, revealing just how understaffed this inner 12 base is. He immediately cycles more units over there from the natural bridge. And he loses a lot of Cyclops in the process of clearing that. Now, here come the Phalanxes. It was just 3 Phalanxes. That was it. And the Scribes are trying to get activated, but that will shut down that base for Aoud. And he still hasn't taken 6 o'clock. It's still guarded by something else. We've got a bit of a push coming in for the natural there. We'll see what Aoud can do with that as the Draconids are going to clear out all the Phalanxes. I think maybe our Protoss player is finally running away with some momentum, but he needs to be a little bit cautious. He needs to be a little bit careful. The Vultures and the Cyclops pushing in. without the Phalanx cover, does allow Aoud to get cost efficiency by taking trades. It's such a brutal back and forth right now, and another band of Protoss units just left the building, heading towards that inner 12 base. A bunch of Zealots absorbed so many Cyclops splash, and that ruins the worker count of Newt, but all is not lost yet. It might change a little bit if those Draconins decide to park their way inside that very, very vital inner 12 base. Reloaded at that 9 o'clock position, and the Cyclops still trying to stave off the Draconin count. Another round of gateway units has finally ascended, and GG is called. Aoud has defied the odds. What was that? Dude, no way you get that kind of game. Wow. Unbelievable, dude. Unbelievable. Aoud presses on. And Newt has fallen to a prize. That was an upper bracket match, guys. That means that it will be Hit 'em Up versus Aoud in the upper final. And Newt will be taking on Krankendow in the lower bracket. And so I now require Hit 'em Up's map pick. Or require Hit 'em Up's map pick. Oh, no. I require Aoud's map pick against Hit 'em Up. That's what I require, because Aoud is the higher seed. And this is now best of 3 territory, baby. That was just the warm-up act. Beautiful, honestly. Wild stuff. Sausage now moves forward to defeat, having defeated Kutyam to face Arbuz. And that means Arbuz versus Sausage will now proceed. I'll go ahead and update the bracket for you guys so you can see the updated sort of match score here. So we have Arbuz versus Sausage in lower round 2. Lower round 3 is going to be Ziki versus the winner of that match, and then Newt versus Crank is coming up next. Meanwhile, Hit 'em Up versus Aoud is kicking off, and Aoud has selected Punch Drunk as our first map. Look at that. This is going to be a cool one. It's a port of Knockout from the ASL season that just passed. Probably going to be a repeat map, if I had to guess, in that Starcraft 1 tournament. And this is going to be map 1. Hit 'em Up will pick map 2. If we need a third map, that will be the higher seeds privilege, which is Aoud. Man, after a game like that, he must be tired, dude. Hit 'em Up, meanwhile, has just been like, what is happening? Why is this guy still here? He was probably mentally prepared to fight a Terran because it looked like Newt had that game the whole time. I'm also glad to have Hit 'em Up back. That's something that Aoud was just musing on. He used the poop emoji in StarCraft. You can't do that, dude. What the fuck? All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going into game 1 of our best of 3, and we should be in a better spot now than we were before, because it will be a Zerg versus Protoss. Interesting. I gambled and assumed that it would just be Terran. I never know what Hit 'em Up's going to roll beforehand, so I'll go ahead and update the overlay here for you guys. And yeah, pretty cool stuff. So that will be Hit 'em Up in the bottom right as our, looks like Platinum Zerg. And in the top left, we have Aoud as the Blood Protoss. A lot of blood was spread out across the whole damn battlefield and spilled everywhere. That's for sure. And Aoud will also be going his Lattice opener. Looks like Ziki does not have the time anymore, so he'll end up forfeiting his match, which means actually the winner of Arbuz Sausage has a lot of oomph to him. So there you go. Hit 'em Up will awaken from this game, realizing that he doesn't have to rematch Zeke. He only had the one game. Yeah, that does kind of suck that Zeke has to go. I mean, he did say he had 4 hours or 3 hours or whatever. I forget what I asked for in the form. I think it's 3 hours. And we're barely an hour and a half in. We're only halfway through the amount of time I tell you to set aside for the tournament. And so it's on him. He is unfortunately not going to be able to make it in there, but we wish him well, and we thank him for participating in that first matchup, which was indeed a very big nail-biter there, as Hit 'em Up pointed out. I hope Hit 'em Up doesn't have to work later, because he didn't sleep, so that would be pretty bad for him. Anyway, cross-spawns. We've been getting a lot of good cross-spawn games, haven't we? That was cross-spawn Blackwater between Godwheat and Crank. Now cross-spawn between Hit 'em Up Aoud, Blackwater Bastion, or Battle Spectre, which is the map that Hit 'em Up played Zeke on. That was a forced cross-spawn map, always cross-spawn, so I'm not really counting that one. But I think so far they've all been cross-spawn games, which tends towards more macro-oriented games, but doesn't have to be. Hit 'em Up is adding his Larvosk, his Quaz, he's got his pool, Aoud scouts him. He has a Vassal on the way, but there's Quaz already here, so not really a big deal there. Something that we didn't see Hit 'em Up use is the Vassal. He went straight for like Sim Idol, and it was a second lattice as well afterwards, so very much geared towards a punish. Quick reactions here from Hit 'em Up to try to chase down the Vassal, deny further scouting, deny any damage on the air units. Aoud wants to keep the unit alive rather than commit it, so he's going to pull it away. Meanwhile, Hit 'em Up will continue the scouting pattern and move towards the top left, where he will be greeted by the Simulacrum, the Idol, and indeed the Zealot, which is an interesting flourish here. Aoud already pulling off a bit of a different style. Hey, Zeke won several weekend wages before. You just weren't around back then. You weren't very active, Alexander. You missed it all. You missed the heyday of the Zerg. All right, expansion coming in for Hit 'em Up. Not really too surprising, as he's also adding his second Larvosk there. We do have the expansion coming for Aoud at a similar time. So that's pretty interesting. So I feel like with the way that we have the... Yeah, I was going to say, there must be another tech node coming here, and it is indeed going to be the Shroud. What does Hit 'em Up want to do with that versus Protoss, of all things? I guess he's probably looking at it and thinking, well, you've got lattice units mixed in there, so it's going to be disproportionately better to have the Lake is out. The Vassal going down as well is a pretty big deal. Meanwhile, we do have the pretty easy as you like Protoss skirmish there. You reveal burrowed units when you step on them, so... I think right about now is when we're going to be thinking about that tech transition, and indeed, Vornath on the way. Shroud soon to be complete. Worker count pretty on par with each other. Actually, Aoud cutting workers a little bit here as his Nexus finishes up. So I feel like with the... Like, Hit 'em Up is also doing the Zeke thing, where he's actually using his hatch here just to make combat units for a bit before making any workers. And there's a lot of wisdom in that. A second Vassal arriving for a scout, that's pretty good. Yeah, I have a feeling, I have a funny feeling that Hit 'em Up might end up getting mauled by the composition that Aoud has. He didn't invest too many Sims, right? He mostly went for the idols. A little bit of a burrow. That's something that Aoud's going to sniff out almost immediately. And the Vassal does indeed come in looking for worker kills. You can just burrow to fight this, and Quaz actually hatch, and so that's it for Aoud's scout. I don't even think he actually saw the Shroud. The Vassal has very limited sight range. So, a Barghest is now on the way. Okay. So when the Barghest attacks, it shares an armor pen aura to all units, as long as it's decloaked, but it cloaks while not attacking. So it needs to be in combat to provide the aura. It's a pretty useful unit versus Shroud comps, I think. It does okay damage by itself, and you can get to a point where you are able to use it to, help bring down Zoryus, or even Ultra Cores is something that I feel like is probably underutilized against. But not many people are bothering with the Rogue Gallery. Aoud did tell me back when he won Acropolis 2 that he thought Protoss overlooked the Rogue Gallery, and now we're all the way over here entering into Acropolis 4 territory, and Aeud's still favoring that structure. He's talked about how he might decide to play random, carry forth the cup of hit 'em up, so to speak. Hit 'em up himself playing random in this tournament. Aeud just playing Protoss. Sticking to one race, but a different race than his usual Terran. I don't know how many people are going to play random when I add Ascozi to random, you know what I mean? I don't know if that's going to be... I don't know if that's actually going to happen. That's all I'm going to say. I think it would be fine to have like a random between two races thing or whatever. You might see people then say, oh yeah, I'll play Protoss or Zerg. Like Arbuz might do that. Hit 'em up said that he wants to do true random only. So, I don't know. I don't know about that. You have to tune back in a few months to see how we have our players navigate that. So, our hatch is coming, and that's going to be our second macro hatch for a total of 4 plus the 2 Larvosk. So, a lot of production for Zerg. Zets and Quas still just kind of soft containing, not really much of a containment, honestly, but it's going to come in here and see that there is indeed a scribe trying to take an extra base. Uh-oh. I thought that was an opportunity there for a moment, but the Barghest also confusing hit him up for just a moment. Why would you make this unit against me? What's happening here? Yeah, they don't do impressive damage by themselves, and there also wasn't any focus fire going on there. So that might have been a little bit too much. Now, did the scribe actually chase the workers, dude? The scribe's a battle worker. Did you know that? Didn't want to set up that third base after all. And now, the Zerg army prancing about. We have a manifold added into the picture as well. Not so many Lakers joining the fray just yet, but finally they will come down. We got no armor pen to help with the Pariah, so it will reign supreme over this army for some time. The manifold adding some armor pen as well. The Pariah will finally go down here in just a moment, but not before it procs a few more ascension ways. And look at that! He's using the manual detection mode of standing on top of the Zerg in order to reveal the Lakers. He had no detection for that fight. And the Barghest is coming in here to try to heckle the workers, but they will, in the process, be taken care of by the Hydras. I'll kill like 3 workers here before they get cleaned up. The one Lake is still... confirms that there's no third base, actually. That's pretty good scouting intel for hit 'em up. And looks like one of the Barghest went down, but we still have 3 intact. And they will be flying towards the main base. The Quas will delay long enough. We got Hydras hatching. I don't think there's going to be any problems here. Embassy on the way for Aeud. He wants that detection. Losing out on one of his Barghests for a Droleth. Maybe not the best trade there. Hit him up immediately, resaturating. Double expand for Aeud. He knows he kind of screwed up there in the middle of that, trying to micro the Barghests and then also expand and take a good army fight in terms of positioning. Oh, nice little snipe fadeaway there. Still picks off another Droleth. He's being annoying. He's being cheeky. Looks like he killed 2, actually. Straight for the ski back now. Looks like Hit 'em Up is probably going to be thinking about that Tethzoracor option. It's much more expensive than it used to be, but it is still just as good once you get it. So, not just as good, but, you know, once you get it. If you're rich, just pay more money, dude. The Hydras are massing, the Zoriuses are coming. This looks like a pretty scary army to go up against, but the crowd control is missing. And the Pariahs are here to try to absorb. Now, the armor rend from the Zorius is going to help out a lot versus those Pariahs. You can see Aeud deliberately trying to hold his Pariahs back for a moment, but is that going to cost him as the Zorius are still intact, and he hasn't been able to get them into the backline at all. They haven't taken any attacks. A third Pariah on the way now. Maybe he can still make something happen here as his Pariahs are cleaving through armies of Hydras. It is outrageous the DPS these things are doing. All that splash damage is so very glorious. One more attack, and there you go. Pops a few more on the way out. Still a couple of dead Striders here by the looks of things. But the Hydras are going to get cleaned up, and the attack will be held. 10 more Hydras on the way. A Kabbalist arriving to start heckling the workers. Of course, Aeud is... Oh, he traded 3 different workers. He targeted so many different ones. Man. Well, let's see. I mean, he's on the run now, evacuating the Nexus and everything. He does still have that 12 o'clock base. If I'm Hit 'em Up, I'm thinking, you gave up that base awfully quick, buddy. But Hit'emup's also busy thinking about a bunch of other things, like his own double expansion, going up to 5 bases as he knocks out the mineral only, sacrificing some military to do it. And actually, he's funneling towards that 12 o'clock, so he will end up scouting that out as well, and that is not really what Aoud wanted. Aoud wanted to hold on to this for as long as possible. He's even pulling the scribes, try to make sure that the Zerg ends up losing their military. But look, more Hydra reinforcements coming in off to the far side and clearing workers. Yeah, this has been pretty bad for Aoud's economy. Had a pretty nice worker advantage there, and now Hit'emup has the worker lead and tempo on 2 extra bases. Down goes one of the bar guests, so no free armor pen there. Got some more Protoss units muscling over towards the 3 o'clock, it looks like. You do need to go tit for tat here, I think. I don't think you can get away with just losing your mineral only, not resetting it, at least as of yet, and not denying some of the extra oomph that Hit'emup has. But I'm seeing the amount of Hydras here, and I really don't think that the Pariahs are getting anywhere. He's going to go after workers, but it's not like there's a juicy amount of them to clear. He's just committed his whole very expensive Protoss army. And for what? A couple of worker kills, not even clearing some of the Zoryus. It's not like he dealt a crippling blow in the other side of it. Got back up in workers, but that won't last. Hit'emup making a bunch of Droleth. That purple overlay there that lasts there for a second reduces armor and attack speed, so it can be pretty difficult for things like Pariahs to make things happen, and only one Matrix over here. Well, he knows the target. He knows he's got to get over here. The Witness is also in position, but there's no more Lakers with this army. Hit'emup abandoned that, which is interesting. He kind of used it to force the Witness tech and then didn't bother engaging with it again. Now, the Zoryu's front line just needs to stay alive long enough for the Pariahs to go down. We got some more coming in, but they can't get access to it. It's too tight over here. The Draconans need to step out of the way. Instead, the Pariahs are halfway across the map now, it feels like. Way too far to help out. The Matrix staying alive for quite a long time. It's getting bounced down a little bit by the Bactylisks, but it looks like those gateway units are finally going to get cleaned. The Pariah is still a little too large to fit through the few gaps and few openings available. As Aoud's worker count plummets, it feels like his hopes in this game are being dashed. We all saw what happened in game 1, well, the last game rather, that he just played. And look at that. The Pariah is still so impressive when they can actually get to the back line there. So they will stabilize, but at the cost of all the workers here in the base and a huge amount of the military. Meanwhile, in case you thought something else was going to happen here, Hit'emup's army surges in supply. Not really a whole lot going on here for Aoud. He's got his mineral only set back up. His production's looking pretty good with triple prostration and a crucible to boost the production rate. Got a lot of gateways, got that road gallery that he hasn't really been using for much of anything right now. Just doesn't have the resources, really. And of course, he made a few witnesses to boot, but he hasn't been leveraging them into good positions. I wish we saw Kasuga in this tournament. Dude, he got second place last time. But he's really good at using witnesses. That's why I thought of that. Nexus will now be the target. The scribes will evacuate. Nothing to do here as the workers get ready. And look, the Protoss army kind of torn in a few different places. Where do we go next? 5-base Zerg versus the now 3-base Protoss with no third gas mining either. This is a mineral-only base up here, so your Vespene nodes are going to be a little bit dastardly. By the way, do you guys like that over here we've got these two mineral fields on the mini-map, plus this little curvature of the resources? If you look at that mini-map, it looks like a smirking face with a nosebleed, I guess. The army supply is absolutely out of control right now for Hit'emup. And you can see that reflected on the screen, not just in the numbers. Too many damn Hydras. The Bactyls here are just for show. They don't even help versus the armor. GG. Aoud has been routed in game 1, and Hit'emup will pick map 2 in this best of 3. Pretty sick, honestly. Pretty epic. I think Aoud had a couple of chances there, but his Pariahs really needed to be on point. It's hard to... If you let the Zerg push into you, without them being pre-positioned, it's very difficult to make them, you know, do work in that way. Also, there was a distinct lack of shield sustain. There were no bulwarks or matrixes in most of those fights. Only at 12 o'clock did he have a matrix. I feel like that could have helped him out. Particularly if he, even if he just had like Ecclesiast, but he really wanted the Striders, right? So that does make sense. That was a lot of Zerg. Chop went one fact Ministry versus Kasuga, who's known for 4-gate 1 base on. Devastated, dude. You want me to see you get bullied by hit? Yeah, well, only in the finals. You'd bully other people on the way. Come on, Kasuga. Too late now. You have to sign up next time. Okay. Waiting on Hit 'em Up's pick for map 2. Well. It'll be Quasar Quartet. I think it's just an Asian term for oral sex, but I'm not entirely sure. Honestly, life could be a lot sadder, and it could actually be, like, the name of an anime or something. I don't know. Because then the implication would be that his girlfriend was the anime. And that would be very sad. I prefer to leave it a mystery. Yeah, I think so, too. Maybe I just frauded. It's not at all what it is. All right, so Hit 'em Up is up 1-0 in the series. Win or ass. No, Hit 'em Up is like the reigning champion, and he's just been inactive, and that's why his seed is low. But everybody seems to play worse versus him, dude. I think Zeke would have done better if he had a warm-up. I think Zeke probably would have bopped him. It was really close to winning. It was like only a 7-minute game, but it was so back and forth. Kasuga just told Hit 'em Up, win or ass. Here we go, boys. We are live in game number 2. It will be Quasar Quartet. I'll change the map name in just a moment here. And we have Hit 'em Up Zerg once again. Going to be the stumbling block, perhaps, for AUD64. Hit 'em Up is the orange Zerg in the top left. And no more cross spawns. AUD64 are blood proton. And yes, I'm contractually obligated to say blood like that every time. At least I don't have to change the overlay. Gateway start for AUD. Ski back start for Hit 'em Up. Okay. Mm-hmm. Hit 'em Up is aura farmed so much that he disrupts other players' mental just by being in the match. Yeah, something like that. I don't know. You figured it out. Imagine he has to play the game with one less worker. Sorry, Hit 'em Up. I was punishing you. I was nerfing you live. That was pretty good. Nerf him up. Dude, everybody loves to do the thing him up. You can't even call him shit him up because he's really good. Second gate, it's going to be a gateway style here for Aoud. He's abandoning the lattice for now. See what he wants to do out of that. Both players scouting each other right at the first go of it. Hit him up probably saw the trajectory of that scribe and figured it out. Might need to go up a notch on the compensation there. His taste in anime is shit. I could only imagine what that's a reference to. Well, Hit 'em Up is got his I0 cores out already, so I don't think there's going to be too many issues there. Bullied. There you go. Hi. You got 2 Drac? That's interesting. So yeah, what does Dracodon Man do against Hydra? This is not a typical opener for either side, really. Usually you're going like Zealot Ecclesiast with the gateways. That's like Oya style, 3-gate. He wasn't the first one who did that. Arbiz, I guess, was probably the progenitor of that style, but... if you go Dracman off of 3-gate, Hierophant scouting for drops, you know, yeah, you guess you typically pair this with like an I0 core drop or something like that. It's probably what he's worried about. And there is an Avaleth coming, so... not an unfounded position to take. And it looks like it'll be a bit more of a defensive play here while the 3rd gateway comes online. Aoud not going to be forcing the issue, but he does end up getting a Circuit for his troubles, delaying the expansion. Only 2 I0 cores, the 3rd one's on the way here. Gonna pop in a moment. Dude, I love Aoud's style with the anti-drop, but he's actually pulled the trigger on abandoning it a little bit late, and his Matrix is only now coming up. However, this does mean that the front line here, 5 Hydras, the Circuit, and that's it. So he's got more Hydras coming, more I0 cores coming. I think he'll hold just fine. Aoud, on the other hand, he's going to be wishing he had something else, I think. Well, I don't know. Let's see. How soon does that Avaleth start working? These 2 Dracs are going to be mulched here by the Hydras, or are they? Pulled him away at the last second. Avaleth drop now coming in. The Matrix will finish in time to help. Meanwhile, a big pressure point here with Aoud trying to catch him. Tags him up with those Hierophant hits. Does slow things down quite a bit. Those I0 cores are unlikely to get away. The drop actually doesn't go right on top of the Force. So they're going to come in now. The Matrix and some of these Dracodons may help out. Let's see. Let's see if Aoud even recognizes it. It looks like he does, but he's not going to bother with it just yet. Letting his forces attack up the ramp. There's actually not that much here. If he gets the Hierophants to stack this debuff on, the Circuits won't actually attack nearly as much, and that's it. Yeah, the Scribe Drill on top of it. Aoud has taken the game. No GG from Hit 'em Up, but that's pretty common, honestly. And that will be the next match here. That's the first time Hit 'em Up has lost a game in Weekend Wage, by the way. That was the first one. And now... Hit 'em Up. Oh no. Aoud picks map 3. So there you go. So Alexander can finally rejoice. Last 3 games for Aoud been Dracman. He did make a lot of them in game 1 versus Hit 'em Up. It was a little bit more pariah folk. He actually teched. He didn't need to tech in that last game, and I guess he technically didn't need to tech versus Newt either, but he should have. That would have been good. Nah, dude, he can't lose. He's going to win everything. It'll just take a little bit long. Okay, we're going Battle Spectre for our next matchup. Will he get Zerg again? All right, here we go, boys. Is Keck W a Matrix? Oh, thank you. Thanks. Hit 'em Up is Zerg again, and he is in the top right as our lemon Zerg player. In the bottom left, Blood Proton. 864. So this is a map where you are always cross spawn. Very cool. Very epic. Will be a gateway open once again for Aoud, and we'll see if it's going to be a den open for Hit 'em Up. But I'm guessing not. I'm guessing not. So we do have a little bit of information here for you. Sausage has dropped to Arbuz, who then moved past Ziki because Ziki was unavailable for that matchup. So we have in our lower semifinal to decide who faces the loser of this very map. It is Newt versus Arbuz Budesh, and they are already onto map 2 of their series. I think. It looks like Hit 'em Up's going to be a little bit on the greedy side here as he goes for his second Kagrant before any tech node, but there is already a scribe moving across to scout him, and we do have a Legionnaire, so Aoud has some kind of sixth sense about him for this. You know, I'm reminded of a time where Aoud was playing against Hepsea, and Hepsea was like, dude, how did you know I was going to do that? What the hell, man? He was like kind of complaining, right, about the fact that he his strategy kept getting like his different strategy each time kept getting somehow anticipated, and Aoud was trying to explain like the tells that he could figure it out. He assumed based on whatever thing, and Absea wouldn't take it, and he said, "Okay, I hack." I just thought that was a really funny thing to say in response to that. Just being annoying with the scribe. He's pulling some of the Rilla Rokors off. They cannot walk off of the Kagra, the creep, unless they want to time out and die. They've timed life there. Circuith already coming. Also, you walk right through the Rilla Rokors. So it looks like Aoud narrowly misses out on the timing here. Not able to move forward. That's what the scribe is trying to do, is pull those Rilla Rokors away so the Legionnaire could get up and maybe do something, but it is not to be. Scribe gets cleaned. The pool is done. We've got Dracodons coming out. Is it any surprise Aoud making Dracodons? Probably not. I'm still waiting to see his Fabled Simulacrum build, dude. He's done that to so many players, but I haven't been able to see it yet. Hit 'em Up makes Intimidation. Yeah. You're not wrong. Okay, let's see. He's going to have to unload those Zets and see if he can get active. Rilla Rokors go after the Legionnaire. Not a bad move there. Couple claws out here. Yeah. So as long as the Rilla Rokors attack, they actually gain 1 second of timed life when they attack. So if they're able to stick to a target, it's all right. This amount of Zets is going to clean up the Drax here without too many issues. Tempted Micro to try to slip the net. It's a little bit harder than it looks, especially given that these players are playing on a bit of a higher latency compensation. So yeah, a bit more difficult. He's going to try to, distract as another set of Drax are attempted to move up the ramp, but instead, as that other one dies, there ain't no much hope for them. See ya. Triple Larvosk into the Vornath. He wants to scoop up those Zets to go across with a drop, and we do have that Matrix coming, so should be in place with enough time, but this is already a dirty game. A dirty game by both players. Expansion coming for Hit 'em Up. Expansion coming for Aoud. Similar timings. Actually kind of favors the Zerg sometimes, because if you're pressuring the Zerg early on, they can't expand very quickly, and you can expand before them. Typically what happens is Zerg take their third at the same time as they take their fourth, and that's how they catch up on the mid-game macro side of things. But the fact that Hit 'em Up is taking it at the same time means that he has kind of greeted towards a more even game earlier in the matchup, which is one of the reasons why his Zerg can be so scary. Now, he's a little bit more fragile to early shenanigans. We saw that in Quasar Quartet, but actually that's true of most Zergs. They tend to have that fragility to them. So the drop is coming in as the Vorvs try to sink their claws into the Dracodons. This looks like it should be an open and shut case where the Zerg can muscle through, but let's see if that Matrix can help out. It's actually being torn down by the Zets. That could be humongous. It goes down, and now the Scribes are under duress. Not a lot of Vorvs here to actually rend the armor and slow things down, but it doesn't really matter when you don't have any workers left behind it because of that drop. It was masterfully executed, and he just tore down the structure. Oh, wow. GG has to be called, and Hit 'em Up will take the game. I have to talk about how that Matrix went down, okay, guys? Normally, the Matrix will shield restore itself because it's attacking a melee unit. But whether it was intentional or perhaps more than likely incidental, the Matrix was attacking a Zeth that was attacking a Scribe, and the other Zeths got aggroed onto the Matrix and then killed the Matrix because the Matrix isn't restoring itself nearly as much as it normally does. Wow. And if it was for a drill, Aoud could have done a drill there to try to stop the Zeths from being able to attack and fought with the Scribes and cleaned it up, and then the Matrix would still have been alive. Maybe he holds versus all the Vorvs. Even then, it's pretty tight. Very deadly follow-up there. Hit 'em up. Immediately puts himself into the grand final. And that means that Newt versus Arbuz is our next matchup. So I say I go ahead and get our next game going here. It looks like it'll be Dyadic Shore up first between these two players. I think that might actually be map 1, so we might be getting in there earlier than we think. And we're only 6 minutes in, so I'll quickly get our overlay ready and jump into the game then. But yeah, congrats to Hit 'em Up for making it in. And we will indeed have what appears to be Arbuz playing as Protoss, rolling as Protoss, and of course getting Cyclops dropped because he's up against Newt. Okay, and that means that I have to reset the scores as well. Ah, just in time to see almost a massacre. Hey, Panoptises! Arbuz is making Stargates! How is Newt possibly going to defeat this? Looks like he's setting up for an expansion over there at the 11 o'clock, I think. Looks like it. We do indeed have the land effect out to try to disable some things. It's a pretty walker-heavy army here for Newt. No Palladium in sight for him. Going for that third base instead. Does make some sense. Another land effect and more Panoptises. I wonder if the land effect is like a stylistic counter towards Anseals. Splash damage to try to shut him down. A Trojan once again being packed up. Fourth Fulcrum on the way. Newt's macro in somewhat full swing here. He's got a little bit of float. Try to spend down. Arbuz kind of notorious for having a bit of a float. He's going to get attacked again in his natural, though. That's going to be difficult. Fifth Fulcrum on the way. Oh, only losing one singular Scribe, and Warden putting some damage onto the Trojan in the process. Can get back to mining pretty quickly here. It's just annoying. He's got these air units. You'd think he would use it for air dominance in this particular area. Oh, come on. You have Panoptises. You can kill that. Just shoot it. Oh, no. Oh, no, your workers. Oh, no, your workers. Oh, no. 6 Scribes going down. He attacks his own Nexus as well, just for good measure. When will we see a Rilla Rokor drop? I like the idea. You know, I should make it so that when they're inside an Ovaleth... what I should do is Ovaleth should be Sires. Let's be real. That's the Zerg buff we need. That totally won't result in really stupid stuff. Sire, if you don't know, is the flag that you get when you are a unit that preserves the vitality, the time to life of the Rilla Rokor. All right, some self-stuns there onto some of Newt's forces. Zealots trying to make some magic happen. The land effects disabling so many of the Cyclops and buying a lot of time for the Anseals to get torn down. Meanwhile, it looks like the Goliaths will clean up all of the Panoptises, but we still have a pretty big Strider army here. And not so many Cyclops left. However, there is still 5 Fulcrum production. Although Newt's not building any units just yet. Now he switches in. He's got his Palladium up. Small window of opportunity for Arbuz to have a tank-free game. Phalanxes are on the way. One singular Dracket in here to paintbrush. How did no Mason go down in that? That's so wild. There's that one 3 HP Mason just dancing like Neo in the Matrix, trying to make sure he didn't get blown up by friendly fire. Unitary Union at the third base. Somewhere Neblime turns in his Australian toilet the other way. And I just, I'm happy about that, because I think there's a second one, but is it in the main base? Where would he put the second unitary? It's like a fake-out unitary. Like, oh, I'm building my tier 3 structure in my third base. Wink, wink. This is the only one. Wonk, wink. Well, he's going to try to commit here. I don't know if Arbiz should be doing this, though. There's a lot of Cyclops, and the Phalanxes are going to be able to really ruin them, it feels like. Now finally focusing down on those Phalanxes coming up from high ground, but at this point the Cyclops can deal with everything. And some of those Phalanxes living with only one Dracodon attack remaining on their life bars. Calamitous. Exemplar on the way for Arbiz. He wants to try to thin the herd of those Cyclops, but if the Cyclops ever get on top of the Exemplars, things could get very bad. Yeah, like, even with the extra armor, they still go down with one Drac shot. That's how wounded they were. But, you know, we don't have the show all health bars thing, and I personally like that we don't, but some people view that as a controversial opinion. Oh! Saved by the bell. And by that I mean the Warden. Architect on the way. This is going to be Newt's undoing. Smarty Cakes 3-0'd him with Architects, so I'm just saying. Smarty Cakes almost played in this, by the way. He did sign up as Protoss, no less, instead of Zerg. But then he said, sorry, boss, I gotta go. No, we took him off. I forgot to mute my game volume, so I just heard the music restart for the Protoss defeat music in the background. Oh, 3-Crow. No, pay attention. No, there's a fight. All right, there you go. Thanks. Looks like 4 Cyclops and a single Zealot. Hey, I'll take that trade. Exemplar out in the wilderness, ready to be shellacked by the Cyclops. Looks like it'll stay alive for now. Alright, all of the Cyclops are dead. The Phalanxes do need to fall away. But they are not currently falling away. Now they are. Yeah, this feels like it's pretty... This is a feels bad moment for the Terran army. He is taking a 4th base, it looks like, just finished up his 4th ministry at 12 o'clock. Meanwhile, the Naturals once again getting assailed. Not a lot of worker deaths just yet. Double Warden and the Matrix does make this pretty easy to dethrone. It's pretty consistently a part of Newt's game plan. He's even walking more Cyclops over there so he can continue elevatoring them. This map is always a little bit scary, I think, because if you actually get Phalanxes up there, good luck defending your Natural, right? That's something that I remember observing in the very first rendition of this map, and somehow nobody really did it. I guess it is a committed position, but that's one of the main reasons I like to take the upper or lower 9 base, depending on my spawn, is because it just stops you from getting griefed. All right, a lot of Cyclops getting loaded up for that attack on the Natural, and indeed it will continue. We're at 92 workers for Newt, 60 and falling for Arbiz. And yeah, even the Warden's going down. Static defense can be pretty easy to clear. 4 Cyclops remain, I think, in the unwounded Trojan there. I hope so. Double Unar on the way now. Unar production very good at trying to deal with some of these tankier individual units that the mech builds can attain. Bit of a high ground advantage for Arbiz. However, fleeting. He's got 1 Asilian. That's pretty good versus the armor, but struggling a little bit overall. Now he's going to try to wrap the army around. Maybe attack that 12 o'clock position it could be. Adding more static defense to the Natural. Yeah, I'm wondering about that too, Night Fox. How long until there's just 4 Wardens over there? Well, he is adding more. And if you count Dracodons as stationary Wardens. Goliath's Gatling, another Drac down. As a reminder, guys, we have Aud 64 waiting to fight the winner of this series. And here's the Phalanxes to drive the point home. Arbiz had air superiority, and he just kind of gave it up and never really took this area. A lot of lost forces to drops. Now, like I said earlier, this position is very committed. The Exemplar will be brought down easily enough, but those Unars might stay alive. Now, one of them does end up getting popped. You can see the Dracodons just trying to walk into friendly fire zone. And the Asilian stays alive as well, which makes it just all that much harder. So, yeah, the whole army gets cleared. Sure, Newt does get a couple of worker kills and destroys yet another warden. So we did get to 4 wardens, Night Fox. High five. But I am looking at this thinking, okay, Newt's got good economic development. Double star pad. A treasury as well. He wants to transfer over to that upper right area. Extra star pads, you might be compelled to think this is a Wraith timing. No. Newt does like Wraiths, but he's just doing it for more Anseals, maybe more Trojans, try to Doom drop or something like that, see if he can crack open the position. Phalanx count looking pretty good. Honestly, I think at this point, Newt might consider just not dropping anymore, or not even attacking that position. And instead going for some other power play on the map. Whoa, almost clears an Architect. Expensive loss. Alright, Phalanxes are going to go ahead and deploy here. They do end up shellacking a large number of those Drakodons on the front lines. Looking like a favorable fight for the Terran army. Down by 30 workers. Newt's macro still working very, very wonderfully as he's trying to saturate that top right base. Architects are ranging down as much as they can, but they don't have the support of very many mass-produced units. You got more Unars and more Exemplars on the way. Okay, admittedly, the Exemplar stack is a potentially interesting turn point here. If we can get the Unars and the Architects to clear out the Goliaths, there's not going to be much notable anti-air. And even now, the Goliaths are busy dealing with ground units. So an Architect goes down. That's not very good news for Arbuz. He wants to keep his artillery alive. He also wants to keep his air units alive, if he can do both of those things, which is a very tall order. By the way, Anseals can be brought down pretty easily by Unars. Not something that we see right now really activating. The Exemplars trying their best to clear out some of the mech units. And indeed, yeah, most of the Goliaths are gone. He's got 1 Goliath remaining that's got good HP. Another one goes down to friendly fire somehow. And yeah, that's a wrap on the initial push, but there's just not that much here left for Arbuz. A lot of idle workers. A Monument of Sin begins inside Arbuz's main base, I believe. His lower 9 o'clock is not saturated right now. Those workers could definitely be there. Instead, he uses them as battle workers, figuring it might as well. A couple of freshly laid lobotomy mines and a bit of a panic do end up stunning a number of those zealots, and well, there's not so many of them in general. The Monument of Sin unlikely to come online fast enough. I want to see the Star Sovereign, I do. And Arbuz has a lot of games where he kills Newt with Star Sovereigns. So I know that Newt doesn't want to see the Star Sovereign. Tier 2 on the way for our Terran player now that he's up to his 5 base count, actually. With that top right. The Phalanx count's pretty outrageous. And the Atlas is... Nablime is spinning in that toilet. Holy moly, is he going fast. How do you put your Tier 2 at your 5th base? Well, Newt, that's how. All right, sacking that 6 o'clock is potentially a good option. He's actually going to try to poke at the extremities. A lot of Goliaths did get built up just in case, but you know, they're lambs to the slaughter when you're walking them to all of that artillery. Zealots here trying what they can do. If you had a Herald or you had like a couple of Vassals or something you could blow up for the speed boost, I don't know, that would be nice, but he doesn't have Lattice or Grand Library. In fact, he has no tools with which to achieve the movement speed buff, except for like losing an Ecclesiast, which at this point just doesn't seem reasonable. Now, the Monument of Sin is complete inside that main base. When do we get the Star Sovereign queued up? He's got enough money for it. Arbuz, you have enough money for it. He's busy trying to micro the fight, it looks like. Clears out some of the initial Phalanxes there, but he has no easy way. No envoys or anything for dropping on top of the Phalanxes. Very difficult for him to make matters playable in this situation, it feels like. Zealots, once again, trying their best. Now, Star Sovereign does get started, but Arbuz will throw out the GG. He knows he has been bested by Newt. And that will be his map pick, the Terran's map pick, going the way of the Terran. And I will host that matchup for you all to watch from my perspective. Big shout out to 3Crow for streaming all of those games. The live stream really helped out. Made it so I could basically do whatever for what I was doing there. Very cool. I do appreciate it. Phalanx OP sausage? Yeah. New with more tanks than the Soviets occurs. There's something to that. There is something to that. Great boys. Let's get ready. We're going into Newt versus Arbiz. We're going to Mass Destruction. Arbiz's favorite map, or one of them. I wish my Aoud game was in stream. Says Newt. We were very close though, Night Fox. If he had ordered it up as soon as his monument was done, I feel like that would have been a different story. Okay, will Arbiz get to Protoss again, or will we be seeing him play a different race versus Newt? Let's find out together, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. We have Newt in the bottom left as our... Oh, hold on. We have Newt in the bottom left as our blood. No, it's just regular red Terran. And in the bottom right, we have Arbiz as the red... red, green Terran. Let's try low. I like low better if it works. A little bit snappier on the micro for the players. Just thinking about them. So TVT, this is probably the worst thing that Arbiz could have rolled in this situation back against the wall. This has happened once before, where he ends up rolling Terran, which is his weakest race. Maybe you can say Escozy is technically his weakest race. I don't know. I'm not so sure about that one. But Escozy aren't in the game right now to be random, just so it's fine. Fulcrum. Arbiz will also go Fulcrum here in just a moment. Arbiz's mech... I think his bio is a little bit better than his mech, but they're both not at the level of his Protoss, not at the level of his Zerg. So Arbiz's chance for a reverse sweep is probably going to be cheesy. Because Newt plays so much TVT, dude. He's going to go cross scout here. He plays so much TVT against Vilius. Vilius has played like so many... I don't even know. Where's the stat sheet? Shopdog did a data crawl on the Cosmonarchy matches for ranked mode, and he found Vilius played like a gabillion games. Not as many as Kutyan, but pretty close. And so anyway, Newt's played a lot against him. I think maybe Newt's played against Vilius a lot as well. I can't really remember. But yeah, pretty wild stuff. Double Fulcrum here for Arbiz, double Fulcrum for Newt. No surprises there. They're going to be mirroring each other for now. But of course, Newt doesn't know what Arbiz's race actually is. Vilius versus Newt, best of 100. Yeah, you guys have played a lot together. So I don't know how often Vilius actually wins in that matchup. I'm guessing not very much. But Newt has a lot of TVT practice, even versus players like... I think he's played a lot versus Shopdog as well. I don't know. I have to go back and look. But I guess the top players don't typically play TVT very often. So it's pretty interesting to see that. Hello. I see you have presented me your thruster. May I fire some grenades into it? Oh, Arbiz, what did you do that for? You bungled it. You could have killed his vulture. It was only 2 more shots away. All right. Expansion on location for Arbiz. Meanwhile, 2 Falk into... No, it's going to be an expansion as well for Newt. Okay. Well, as long as he keeps his vulture production steady, he'll be all right. There's no game audio? Oh, shit. That's my bad. Should be back now. I unmuted it on my end, but not on your end. So mean. Oh, no! Lured into a trap. But I'm not locked in here with you. You're locked in here with me. All right, never mind. I'm going to lock myself in here with me. So that was vulture dialogue right there. Call a shaman, but not for me. I saw that you Phoenix posted, Newt. That was really good. He'll see that and not know what that's a reference to because he doesn't remember the original campaign or anything. And then after that, you can tell him that it's a Protoss quote and he'll vomit or something, you know? Now, let's see what Arbiz does as a transition point here. He's adding 2 more Fulcrums. A Watchdog for anti-drop, I suppose. Knowing that Newt does like his drops. I guess the one thing that he has going for him is that he's probably not going to be a... He's probably not going to look at this situation and say to himself, I know exactly what Arbuz will do. Like, he has no idea. He doesn't know Arbuz's style. But Newt's just going to play his own game. Add a star pad. Got a 3 Folks. Making Cyclops to drop. Worker count will start to favor him pretty soon here. And that's just because I assume Arbuz's macro is going to fall off. I am a little bit pessimistic for him, I admit. These cute little hallways into this 3 o'clock base. Palladium on the way now for Arbuz. So, Fast Phalanx seems to be the name of the game. And so far, Arbuz has actually been keeping up on the workers. So, I will give credit where credit is due. 4th Fulcrum for our protagonist in this matchup. Our Terran hero. Who doesn't just moonlight as Terran, but is Terran. I thought it was really funny when Shopdog was being called the Terran. And he's like, somebody please be the best Terran. Again, I don't want to be the Terran. I can't be known as the Terran. I encourage everybody to call Shopkeeper Dog the Terran. I think that's funny. Scrapyard after Palladium. Arbuz, you're a man after my own heart. Beautiful. Anchor completes inside the mineral line. Interesting choice there. I do have another Mason scout. Hey, they're scouting each other at the same time. Although I think this guy's actually moving to the top right to expand. Yeah. Oh, he's actually scouting for counter expansions by the looks of it. Where 1 lobotomy mine once existed, 3 will be taking its place. That's very funny. Madrigal on the way. We got a star pad coming for Arbuz. Madrigal is interesting. What does he think is going to happen here? Is it for anti-Anseal? Maybe. Could also be an attempt at countering Cyclops, but I feel like the Madrigal will be a sitting duck. Matador is also coming out. I think Matador Cyclops probably does beat Pure Cyclops, which is as it should be, since it's not a monocomp. Anseal here to detect mines. The Mason was clocked, and so Arbuz is definitely going to be drawing some attention with that guy. All right, he's sharking forward. Matadors need to get to the front line. He's only got 1 lobotomy mine left. Anseal are immediately brought down by the Madrigal shots, as far as its shielding goes. And the Matadors are still healthy enough to take this fight. So, very good. Just sort of shoves Newt back and says, I don't think so, buddy. Mason doesn't even go down, so the anchor will finish and everything. By the way, this Mason scout is moving to the top left. We are going to be seeing plenty of scouting from Arbuz, and the 3rd base at the mineral only is on the way. I wonder how people are feeling about mass destruction. I feel like it's a map that's pretty interesting, but it's also seen its time in the sun. So I don't know if there's if people still think there's a lot to innovate on for this one. Expansions are kind of hard to take on it after the natural. All right, blackjacks have been added. I don't know how good those are, but I like the idea. Madrigal still trying to gun down the Anseal. Might be able to do so in the process as well. Yeah, there it goes. 1 more shot. Oh, clobbered by the Phalanx. So he made the Palladium for 1 Madrigal? That's all he did. He didn't make any Phalanxes with it. He's adding 3 more Folks, though. I guess he made 1 Phalanx up here. Ministry number 3 going to be lifted later. And Tier 2 begins. Hold on, where's that at? Seriously, where is that at? Oh, here it is. I couldn't find it. Sorry, guys. Give you guys whiplash. Yeah, the Fulcrum advantage, production advantage, is definitely with Arbuz for now. But you see 3 Fulcrums being added, so we're going to be pretty even on that department. Going up to 7 on either side. Mineral-only base will definitely help out with that as well. Not that much in the way of actual combat units. You can see Arbuz trying to navigate the edge of the map here. Maybe he wants to use Vultures to try to run down onto the Phalanxes. There's actually only Phalanx here, basically. There's some Vultures here, but that's it. Well, he was thinking about it, but the Anseal provided some vision, it looks like. Hi. Ooh, well, that wasn't very good. This looks pretty hard for Newt to actually break up into. I don't know. Why was his own ant seal there for a second? What was that going on there? Arbus is like, here, I'll try to help you. Is that like a taunt or something? I don't know. This phalanx was supposed to evacuate but didn't, so GG. But I think in this situation, I mean, Newt does have the economic lead, shall we say, but also this ministry landed at 6 o'clock. Everybody and their mother knows where that base is, so will he lift it off? What's he going to do here? One Vespine return. That's all you get. See ya. I wonder what the blackjacks are all about. I'm not sure. I mean, I'm glad that Arbus is doing that because it's something different. I like that part of it. But what's his goal with them? You know what I mean? Everything is so clumped up here. Phalanxes on the other side would be so brutal. I'm going to go ahead and lift off the ministry. It will be just fine. Blackjacks chased a phalanx all the way across. Started clearing out some mines. I think you can probably take 9 o'clock here. That's exactly what Newt is doing on the other side of the map. Sorry, you can probably take 3 o'clock here if you're Arbus. But his tier 2 is done and he's going starports. So that's his goal, is to leverage his tech advantage. Sets up some phalanxes to make sure that you can't just waltz in here. Ministry almost getting cleared. A couple of masons on this side are going to try to return minerals in a very... This is a hostile work environment, holy moly. Couple phalanxes. I like the spread here from Arbus. Makes it harder for you to just walk right up to them. Blackjack's also clearing out the vultures and the mines nicely. Yeah, the hit scan damage is pretty good there. Instant hit. But they are going to fall pretty quickly. Gorgons are starting up. I don't think it's going to be a while before Arbus has enough to contend with the anti-air that Newt is bringing, which is just a lot of Cyclops right now. But if... Here's an idea. If the Cyclops get shellacked by phalanxes, or if you just get enough Gorgons, you might be able to do something. Personally, this is where I would start to think about the Wyvern. I don't know. I think it would be really good, actually, because the phalanxes in siege mode don't have armor to absorb the Wyvern shot. So the splash damage would, it's kinetic penetration like the Cyprian. It would just penetrate everything, including the Cyclops and stuff. So that could be really big. Now, it's landed at 3 o'clock. No Masons have moved over there just yet. Worker advantage for Newt for sure. Up by about 15. And adding a lot more Goliaths. Has he scouted? Has he figured out that it's going to be tier 2 air push? I'm not sure. No units in place to deal with this. This is an outmaneuvering by Newt. Arbus is giving us a game, but he might end up dropping this ministry, and it was never repaired earlier. Let's see how capable he is at dealing with that. The high ground provided vision from the edge of the ant seal, or just because he walked right up to the edge of the cliff, either way. And it looks like, yeah, it will be repaired now. So, not really an easy way for Newt to push in, but he's still denying mining. Just pocketing those Gorgons for now. It's Phalanx Blackjack. He's definitely punching above his weight when it comes to cost efficiency, right? Like, his Phalanxes and Blackjacks are holding off against a much superior army in terms of cost, especially with the ant seals that Newt has made. If we had 2 more Madrigals here, that would be so glorious. Well, he's going to add a Watchdog, and he's going to keep on going for more Gorgons. It's basically at the capacity of what he can afford right now. He hasn't capped any ridges or geysers. Oh, he's not even mining from this geyser. That's a huge whiff. He's somewhat gas-starved here. Now, the Gorgons are going to clear out all the Phalanxes on the way here. Oh, they go after the Cyclops drop. That's a nice catch, incidentally. Now, a lot of Goliaths did get made, so realistically, this shouldn't just be an open and shut case where suddenly the Gorgon stack arrives and you can't do anything. But he can clear a lot with this. I would love to see him go after some infrastructure. There are some Goliaths here. Gorgons can deal with them in small numbers. Actually, the Cyclops are a little bit scarier because all the Gorgons are clumped up. But yeah, when you see that many, you gotta start thinking about something else. And he can go after the workers. At the very least, he can shut down the mining over here. Try to reset it back into some favor. You can see him just kind of preemptively flying away from where the Goliaths are coming from. He is going to lose some of them. Started off with 11, so down to 8 ain't too bad. He's going to reveal to Newt that he's got a lot of idle Masons here. Sometimes that's a bad move to do, but, you know, eventually Newt would figure that out. Using the cliff, clearing a lot of the Masons in the process. And if he goes up top left, he'll actually clear, or at least clock, a couple of bases, like be aware of them. Yeah, he needs to salvage those units, get them away from the threat level. Meanwhile, they could actually be pretty useful over here. Does he have any more? Yeah, he has a 6 more. So, yeah, he's still producing them. The Blackjacks are making a break for it, and I think they're mostly just going to be broken. The anti-air is actually a little bit lax over here. The Phalanx is trying to deploy to catch some fire. The Cyclops kind of still here for the splash, though. Yeah, the splash damage is ruining Arbuz's Gorgon stack right now. Those units from earlier come on in to try to make something happen. It is not going to be enough, and GG has to be called. Arbuz on 2 bases for too long. I like the tier 2. I really like the tier 2. Oh, I never changed the map name to Mass Destruction on the overlay, my bad. I do like the tier 2. That was really good, but that is going to be GG's. And Arbuz will fall. That means it will be Newt Aoud rematch. TVP. Best of 3. Coming at ya. So we're going to see what Aoud selects for his next map. He can't pick Battle Spectre. He picked that before. He picked that against Hit 'em Up. So as long as he picks a different map, that's fine. Sorry, I was giggling, cackling even. Because we had I said pick map 1 and Newt said or forfeit. That's good too. We're going Magnetron for our first matchup. I love this pick. I think it's a really cool map. Tabletop map Oblivion. Yeah, it hasn't been a class 1 map for a little bit. I was thinking that about the little corridor into the 3 o'clock base that we saw on Mass Destruction, the last map, and I was thinking, that could be a cool little tabletop feature. So I did think that. I just didn't articulate it. Pranked. All right, I had the wrong name for the lobby. It was still Newt versus Arbuz, but it was supposed to be Aoud versus Newt. Listen, eventually we are going to have the lobby. I can name the lobby. That'll be so good. All right, lads, we are going to be jumping into our next matchup here. It'll be Aoud 64 selecting Magnetron to take on Newt, and this will be a best of 3. So game 1 on Magnetron. We have in the bottom left, Aoud 64, the Blood Proton. And in the top right, we have Newt, the Aquamarine, Eggshell Blue Terran. Eggshell Blue. Try a medium here. Seems like it's a little bit better. Take a moment to shout out everything that we have here to support Cosmonarchy. If you like to support Cosmonarchy, you can share this channel, share this stream, these videos. These wonderful experiences that you have watching Cosmonarchy can be shared by all. You can join our Discord server if you're not already in there. There's a link in the description. Also, there's a bevy of other links. You can buy merch, branded Cosmonarchy merch. We'll have a lot more options in this year for some pretty cool stuff there. I'm probably going to add some more stuff in February, but we'll find out about the exact timing later. That's store.cosmonarchy.com. You can also donate to show match funding, which as you can see is at $70 out of 130, or I would say you can see, but I actually disabled the overlay in-game. I shouldn't have done that. That's silly. But we are $70 out of 130 our way towards show match funding. It's going to be very epic with pros and everything. So if you want to donate towards that, streamlabs.com/pronego. And if you just want to donate towards project development in general, you can subscribe monthly on our coffee page. You can bounty, commission certain things like new units for factions and all that stuff. You can do all that at co-fi.com/pronego and week7. Thanks for the support, homies. Now, it's going to be a double lattice build from Aoud. He wants to bully Newt. He wants to punish Newt. He wants to defeat Newt. He already did it once, and it was absolutely outrageous. Like a 20-plus minute game of just Drakidans. Now, again, Newt should have won that game, but he didn't. That's how he found himself in the lower bracket to begin with. And look at this. Pocketing the scribe. Just trying to distract and kerfluffle for as much and as long as possible. The simulacrum has been revealed. Now, when you see this, what do you say as the Terran? Do you expect immediately that there's a vassal coming? Yep, I was going to say, I'm Aoud. I immediately go after that Mason building the Fulcrum. Watchdog has been started. Pow. Now, you can just try to follow this Mason around and repair it, but then you can attack the one that's repairing. Oh my god. Wait, hold on. Oh, he still got it. Oh my god, Newt, no. He's building a Goliath. He's built a Watchdog. He's building a Goliath. He's lost 2 Masons. 3 if you count the guy that scouted. Oh no, is he going to lose a 3rd? No way, dude. Oh man, this has been slowed so much, dude. Oh, and then the insult to injury. The Goliath comes out. The vassal's already been taken care of. All right. Well, if I was still doing Twitch bets, I think everybody would be betting against Newt right now. All right, fast 3rd Fulcrum. You got to catch up somehow. Not moving across the map, that's for sure. All of that because of one vassal. That's Shopkeeper Dog's worst nightmare, dude. Matrix, you're going to get some idols. This looks like a PvZ build. This looks like Hit 'em Up's build against Zeke earlier. Heavy hitting revenge. If it's anything like our last time we saw these two play, it'll be like 30 minutes on tier 1, so like Veek 7's dream. All right, the Vultures are leaving the building. Honestly, they could try to run over this Sim Idol army, but Idols are pretty good versus Vultures. Plus, you got the one Vassal as well. The Goliath is not defending the base. I'm just saying. The Vultures are going to try to focus down individual Sims, but they are struggling to do so in time. The Idols are just running them over. Look at that. He pulls away and he gets a free Sim. I mean, it's walking wounded. It'll die to the like 2 Vulture shots, but still, it's something. Yeah, if he builds on location, the Vassal will kill his Mason again. What's up? Just being a nuisance. Matrix starting up. Another Matrix starting up, and down will go the Watchdog. Oh, wow. Hold on. The Watchdog's not protecting the base. Huh? He doesn't know it yet, but the Vassal could do a lot of damage here. Goliath trying to push with the Vultures. He's attacking the Nexus randomly. That was never happening. Yeah, the Matrixes make this really hard. Oh, Aoud is biting on the idea that this is a really, like, committed push. In actuality, there's no kill pressure here that Newt has. He can't make it through. He'll clear the Vassal at the very least. That's one nightmare taken care of before it starts. But we are going to get to an economic advantage here for Aoud. His Grand Library is already thrumming. He's going to go for a Herald. Okay, I see the vision here. Newt is going to look at the investment made defensively that Aoud has done. And he's going to say, I'm going to double expand. And I'm going to just try to turtle up. And I'm going to see if I can't just come back that way. Because I am behind. I am absolutely behind. So, let's see. Let's see what the Terran does. He's got some mines laid over here. He can definitely build a couple of things over in this position. This is all buildable terrain here, so no worries on that front. There are some unbuildable tiles that are like in other positions on the map that I'll point out if we get to that point, but in this situation, everything is pretty buildable. Crucible to empower just about every structure here. Very nice. And it looks like we're thinking about moving out here if we are on the side of Aoud. That third Matrix to the natural, this one in the mineral line, looking for anti-drop. Yeah, he's actually insulated himself pretty well against drops, but Newt ain't doing that right now. His third Ministry's done, his Palladium's on the way. He's cut all military production for the time being. Is he safe enough to do so? I think his army easily outmuscles everything that he's got to worry about. Crucially, he does not have a watchdog over here, so Vassal could cause some flummoxing, but the Goliath is also in position to just kind of rotate over to whatever base needs help, so it shouldn't, result in any kills or anything. In fact, the Vessel's going to fly right into the army, so that's beneficial. Oh my god, I thought he was going to lose a vulture. It's like, even the easiest slam dunk, Newt still has the bad luck and loses a unit, but not quite. Laying some mines over here at 9 o'clock. This is a gas base. You do want to watch out for that. Magnetron has a funny little style to it. So this is a mineral-only base. Okay, you're used to seeing that by now. You're watching Cosmonarchy. 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock, also mineral-only bases. So we see this one being taken. And indeed, the Vulture will kill the Scribe at the very least. The Nexus starts. So that's confirmation from Newt. Ayud still hasn't scouted that this ministry is complete. But confirmation for Newt that the third base is being taken. But it is a mineral-only base, right? So we will not see any extra Vespine pop into the coffers. And if you take 12 o'clock or 6, depending on where you're spawned, these are like a natural, logical position for your fourth base that you are opting into a very heavy amount of minerals and a very limited amount of Vespine if you take them. So I just thought that was worth pointing out. Extra phalanx on the way here for our Terran player. Remember, this is only game 1. Newt will pick game 2 after this. If we need a third one, Ayud will select it. Trying to face tank all of these stuns. It gives the Terran army time to push forward. And that will be an easy cleanup on the initial push. Even taking out an idol on the way out. Will he relay the mines? He's got a couple of them that he can do so with. Looks like 9 o'clock is in the cards for Ayud. That's where he wants to take his fourth base at. Meanwhile, adding a pylon. I don't know if that's intentional. And, of course, a unitary union over here inside. And a prostration stage as well. Double tier 3. Now, the army fight is going to happen at the same time. Newt should have maybe, forked these two vultures off and killed the Scribe trying to expand at 9 o'clock. But maybe that won't matter. The phalanxes are getting engaged upon. Not that much damage can actually be leveraged against them. Cyclops and Vultures trying to clear what they can, but the Heralds are making things take so much more time to do so. And the Amaranth shield sustaining his way through everything, clears the phalanxes. And that is an army crush in favor of the Protoss. Now, we do have some reinforcements, but it's only phalanx right now. He was going to take this base. He still does. Builds a treasury right in front of him, hoping against hope that that will slow things down. Cancels it out. Distracts him and delays him for a little bit of time. And now he's got the phalanxes set up as best they can by themselves with just a few mines left to their name. 12 o'clock is empty. Is Newt going to be under attack or what? We've got a watchdog out in front. That's another thing that might slow things down. Ayud's army gets split up by the cliff here. He might actually not be able to break this position then. Another cycle of units should be able to come out here pretty soon. 3 more phalanx. I don't know if I like that. Unar's coming out now. Prostration stage complete. No money for a tier 4 structure for Ayud, so we don't have to worry about that. His Nexus about halfway complete down there at the 9 o'clock, capping the Sedent and capping the ridge inside his main base. No other gas caps you made just of yet. And on a map like Magnetron, you kind of need those gas caps, I think. This one simulacrum at 12 o'clock being a nuisance. All right, Pariah Unar, that's what we're seeing here. I feel like the way that the Heralds are, providing so much shield sustain, and also when any unit dies within the presence of a Herald, their corpse gives movement speed to all of the other Protoss units in the area. So 3 vultures actually going to raid down here, but there's only 1 Scribe to be killed. They're a little bit too far ahead of the Scribe transfer, and actually Ayud was already ahead of it a little bit. Maybe he can kill that Warden. Looks like he's not going to be able to do so. He'll try to get out. Spoiler. The answer is no. Double Fulcrum. We got the star pad finishing up. That's the first star pad. Normally Newt has a second star pad already by now. But this is only his first. Going up to a whopping 9 Fulcrum. Let's see what the players say for the printout here. It's me then. Because I got Aoud, and if Newt got a different thing than I got, then they're still in sync. It might not matter for long, though. The Protoss army is coming in to try to pile drive onto Newt's very, very difficult to clear army here. Pariah's breaking through. The Heralds still providing more movement speed. Maybe Newt survives here, though. I think he's got enough in the back there. The Unars are going to get cleared eventually. Oh, 4 Phalanxes back here as well. Yeah, he should be able to clear that. Protoss army doing a lot of damage, though. They're going to get rid of a number of the Phalanxes in the lower level. There's no more reinforcements coming. A single sim. A single sim has disrupted the construction of the ministry. It will get deconstructed, though. That was entertaining. And the Unars are actually, yeah, they're definitely going to get cleared up in the process. A single Amaranth does not a threat make. Okay, and since everybody's back in action here, I am going to call for a PP and ask need stream from one of them. And do that. We'll see. We'll cast from Newt's POV. Stand by for one moment as we wrangle things. Okay. All right, so we are going to be checking out the setup here. We're going to be piping over to that. Let's go to this POV as well. Okay, so obviously we have both views up. We're going to be watching Newt's, and occasionally I'll tab between. So all right. I'll adjust down the volume there for you guys. So we do indeed have a quick look at the Cyclops and the Phalanx and all of the other mech units, the beautiful mech units that Newt is assembling. He did barely hold that fight. It felt like if everything was concentrated in one spot to kind of wedge through, that would have been a different story. We got random scribes over there going in. I'm going to quickly also take a look at the... Oh, wait, hold on. No, never mind. All I needed to do was take one look at this and say, yeah, we got a rematch here. Because you can see that there's not at all the same thing happening on either side. Owned. All of that setup and owned. Yeah, that's... No, it's broken. We are him. Yeah, that's definitely wrong. I don't know why, unfortunately, Newt gave us disinformation initially, so that was too bad. Because he was like, yeah, I got your name. I was like, all right, then it's fine. All good, brothers. No good there. No good, brothers. That's too bad, because there was a comeback and a half attempt from Newt. Okay, we're going to go back to it, though. Once more with feeling. Here we go. Aoud, once again, blood in the bottom left of Magnetron, and Newt in the top right is our teal Terran. I saw him doing his camera hockeys for the bases that he intends to take. I think he's probably going to be going for that one, as opposed to this guy down here, which is what he took initially. We'll find out, though. Basically, depending on what you want to do, like, even though these bases are mineral-onlys both, taking them signals a different story. So if you take this one, you're defensive. you can't really easily leapfrog to this base. But if you take the one at 12 o'clock, you can easily leapfrog to either this base in the top left or this base right below it. So I feel like there's ways to go about it in either capacity. I blame Hit 'em Up for that desync, by the way. He did want more time to eat. So that's who our real nemesis is. The Ayud is going to win too fast. Get this game out of here. It will still be a lattice opener, so no changes in terms of the reset reality. You know, it would be pretty ultimate if we had the tabletop and like there's a part of the game that seems like incorrect for two different players and then desyncs are canon. Whoa! No, I'm not going to do that. That would be too hard to do for one. How would I even show different like maps to different players and keep it synchronized? I need to find a way to desync Foundry. I don't think I can do that. But we do have that second Fulcrum coming for Newt. And that will be an interesting change. Bestseller, yeah. Could be. We do have a lot of interest in the tabletop for Cosmonarchy. I'm looking forward to seeing how it takes shape over time, that's for sure. The Mason is being heckled. The Vassal is on the way. It surely won't be as disastrous as last time. Right, guys? Well, it's happening again. Boys, it is happening again. Watchdog starts. Yeah, that's a dead one. Scribe killed the Mason in the process. The Sims are moving across the map. This is going to be a little bit more aggressive. Watch out now, Ayud. You need that Vassal. You need all the DPS you can get here. Goliath halfway complete. And now the Watchdog lifts off with the intention of protecting the Masons. Now, what happens when the Sim shows up? Because he's on one Vulture for his defense versus ground. His Goliath is done. Look at this. Ayud just trades spaces. He's like, yeah, all right, whatever. Meanwhile, you got to take your fights a little bit carefully here. Gonna pull that Sim away. Is he gonna get away? Yeah, he gets it. He gets the split at the very least. Decollision though, not favoring him there. He does have another simulacrum coming. Pulls away that one. Oh, is this the fabled Ayud simulacrum coming? That one's splitting. He's got 1 HP. He's gonna get another one. Can he overwhelm? He's got 2 Vultures to deal with now, though. I don't think so, right? Like, surely he can't. If that opening salvo was on that Vulture, it would have been a different story, I feel like. Now microing it back, trying to split it back. He's got 2 more. He's got 2 more. They need to get into the fight. He's splitting like crazy, but these ones are almost all dead immediately, and it looks like the simulacrum attack has failed, has faltered. I'm confused. Are you? He's trying to type at him. He's like, "What are you doing, dude? You can't beat me like this." Well, are you sure? Are you sure, Newt? Because you are now under the attack. 7 Sims. Maybe this will set you straight. That Goliath is so dead. That Goliath is so dead, dude. That was one of the main defenses he had. Look, there's more Sims where that came from. Are you confused, buddy? Are you confused? He tried to hit him with the I'm confused. I want to type me too so bad. I hope Ayud does it. Oh, man. Oh, no! Oh, I'm so confused. This is how dead you were supposed to be in the first game. All right, Newt's got to pick game map 2. I kind of like that we got to see that. Honestly, I've been waiting to see that particular turn of events for a long time. Newt never seen a simulacrum? I don't know, actually. He probably has. Maybe that's the first time it's been done to him. I don't know. What? They only split. He thought they couldn't be split if they were taking damage. The unit would be absolutely useless if that was the case. That never happened. He thought they had to have shields up. He thought they had to have their shields recharged in order to split. That never was the case. He's like, how are you splitting? So I'm confused with genuine. I thought it was like a diss. I thought it was like a, oh no. All right, we're going acid test here for our next map. I'll go ahead and get our overlay good to go here. All right. We are going into game 2. Now, Newt is no longer confused. Now, he has the capacity for destruction. Oops. We'll do this. It is the Blood Protoss of AUD64 who is sending his first scribe across. What is going on there? And in the bottom right, we have the illustrious Newt in the... actually, don't know what color this is. Royal blue? Neon blue. There you go. Well, we will see how that one ends up. I don't think I'm going to need those camera hotkeys for expansions, but it's actually a very fast Mason out here. He's going bio. Gonna go bio. What's the scribe doing then? What is it you're doing in this game? What's happening? Hi. When you see it this early, surely something's fishy is happening. Yeah, Newt immediately sends it. Dude. Oh my god! Oh no! 35 seconds for a warden to finish, by the way. He has no space for another pylon. If the pylons go down... Oh my god, I did not expect that as the reaction. Wow. Well. I mean, he canceled the wardens. And he denied a lot of mining time. Dude, I don't know what happens now. I've never seen this before. We are entering into uncharted territory. I have no clue. I have zero idea. There's no way that's the better play, right? Like, he just lifted it off. I've never seen this before in my life. Wild. He's got bio, and he's got... Honestly, if he sent all of his bio across the map, he might have been able to do some damage. But the warden is there as well now, so it's a little bit different. Decisions. Oh, no. Oh, guys. Hey, do you see a problem here? Hey, what's going on here? I can't see with most of the tiles that are underneath this nexus, but I can see most of the tiles underneath the ministry. I wonder what that means. Spoiler, it means that mining from these two patches is inefficient and mining from the gas is inefficient. So, yeah, if Newt doesn't win the game with his first couple of moves, he is dead. You can't have that. Stim and escape. Oh, no, stim and fight? I don't think so, buddy. Dude, you got 2 maps. Just get out of here. I'm still a little bit flabbergasted by the early game, but I do think the Draconids are just going to win the game here for Aoud. A couple of these guys are getting hemorrhaged a little bit. He needs to like preemptively stim, but Aoud's doing a really good job of just kind of ranging him down. There's the stim. You can kind of tell when the Mavericks are moving that quickly, you know? You can kind of be like, okay, I know what you're doing, but yeah, there's too many now. GG. That's a wrap. And Newt is out of contention. He has been warden rushed. He has lifted his ministry intentionally this time, but it was not enough. Goddamn, son. Aoud has made it back to the grand finals of a weekend wage at long last, where because of Hit 'em Up being the one who made it to the upper bracket, we will see him pick map 1 here. And GG. You guys don't know how we got here. It was through a lower bracket that featured Arbuz moving past Sausage and Newt moving past Krankendow, who in turn moved past Godwheat. Then we had Newt 2-0 Arbuz. Looks like a hard-fought game on Dyadic Shore into Mass Destruction, which was much more... it was interesting. It was a TBT that was... I've never really seen that style play. It was pretty good. But Newt still kept his head about him and just kind of plowed through the air stack there. Just overwhelmed him with the macro. And then we just saw the Aoud Newt games there, and now we have Hit 'em Up versus Aoud. All right, we go to Near Impact for our first match here versus Aoud 64. Let me just reset my name. Yeah, I feel like Newt kind of... The games that Newt just played versus Aoud were both kind of knowledge checks in a way. Like the sim, he just thought it worked differently than it did. So he was engaging with it in a way that, like, to us, we were like, why is he doing that? And then the reason is he just didn't know. The Warden, he's just said he never saw that before. That was pretty wild. And the liftoff was mind-blowing as well. If he hadn't gone bio, he wouldn't have had any units there to try to deal with it. So at first I was like, oh, that's pretty good for him. But it wasn't quite enough. When you see the scribe there, like, to know that, like, okay, they can do a perfect wall behind my minerals, I have to deal with that somehow. Yeah, that's pretty wild. Yeah, Aoud knew what he needed to do there. Yeah, it was pretty wild. Looks like Aoud is, speaking of Aoud, is taking a short water closet break or something. Yeah, there he is. I might need one of those too, but we'll see how long these games go. Yeah, the scribe was immediately, it was one of his first 6 scribes that he sent out. Like, he didn't even train his scribe from his Nexus first. It was wild. All right, guys, we are getting into our next and final series. This time we are going on to Near Impact, and we will have Hit 'em Up taking on Aoud 64. And it's an exciting one. I have a treat for you guys. Hit 'em Up has indeed rolled a race. Will I reveal it? Not yet. Will I reveal it eventually? Yes. I'm just setting up the overlay. Calm down. Everything is fine. Near Impact is a map we haven't seen yet in the tournament, at least as far as I have seen. And by the way, just so you guys know, Hit 'em Up has been revealing his race to his opponent the entire time. It will be a ladder start here for Aoud 64 because he's up against Hit 'em Up's Terran. Again, 92% win rate or something as Terran. It's kind of wild. Hit 'em Up's Terran is certainly his best race. So we'll see how he does versus Aoud's Protoss. Fulcrum on the way here for Hit as he sends his Mason scouted around the same timing there. Like one worker late. later than the fulcrum goes down, it looks like. Okay, it'll be 2 lattice. We'll see if Ayud can make the sim style work. Against the Hitster. Near Impact, a pretty good, like, even-keeled map. You can get up to early shenanigans on it. I forget how you, how do you follow a unit? I don't even remember. Alt-F, Alt-F, Shift-F, Control-F. No, I don't know. Control-Shift-F, no. Control-Alt-Shift-F, no. No idea. Don't remember. It's a little bit smoother than it used to be. I wanted to do it just for cinematic purposes. No, it existed. It always existed in StarCraft. It's just really, really chunky in StarCraft 1 originally. Ooh! And here comes the Vassal. The Watchdog's already made, by the way. Similar situation that it seems like he's found himself in, a slightly slowed second fulcrum. Laying down the mines to disrupt any simulacrum push. So we are going to see a very similar move. Will the Mason escape? I think so. Nope. Oh. And then they both get stunned, but Hedema was not in place to deal with that. Expansion coming for Ayud. Idling his lattices for now. Looks like, yeah, I feel like the switch into fast Cyclops here makes a lot of sense versus lattice. Not only do you get a deal with the Vassal button, even though it may come at the cost of some of your own HP, but you also just deal splash damage in general. Now, this can be a problem. Wolfix had this problem versus Doglived, where you can split a bunch of Sims and not do enough damage to kill any of them. So it is a little bit of a thing that's on knife's edge. Watchdog also pushing out to assist in the scouting, it looks like. And he's just going to walk right up here and get in the face of Ayud. And this is doing a little bit of friendly fire to him, but... Oh, yeah, there it is. He just split that Sim in the back. So he clears 2 more in the process, but Ayud still, has a respectable number of them. No money for a Ministry just yet. Actually, Hedema could cancel those Vultures and do it, but I don't think he will want to. He's going to go ahead and get repairs going and wait for his Ministry money. So Ayud has a very fast tempo for his Nexus. He's also pivoted immediately into Vassals, which is pretty good. There's a Goliath here to try to deal with them, but the Cyclopses are going to be doing a lot of splash damage to each other. I don't think the thing is they can't really do anything versus armor, so the Goliath is kind of impenetrable. The Ministry also very hard to deal with, and now it will be resumed in terms of construction. I feel like everything's a little bit off here for Hedema. He's got a lot of workers in positions where you think he wants to make a certain kind of structure, but he doesn't have enough money for it. He's definitely being flummoxed a little bit here. Got the Cyclops in a good position. A lot of those Sims are very, very damaged. Same can be said for the Vassal stack. And he's going to try to fly over the back stack of the Walkers. But when you reinforce with Goliaths like this, there's not much the Lattice units can do. They just kind of fall flat a little bit there. So, you know what? 2 Cyclops go down, but you destroy most of the units. It's pretty easy there. Now, Ayud has had a little bit of an eco lead because he went for a Nexus off the back of his 2 Lattice. Now he's got a Crucible. Let me think about this. My read is he's actually going to jump straight to tier 3. This is going to be like a prostration stage. No, gateways? Huh. He wants to go into Strider, I guess. I was thinking he's going to do Crucible. Crucible does unlock the next tier of tech. Vassal's now flying over. There is no Watchdog over there in the natural. Scrapyard coming out here for Hit 'em Up. And he's going to start making the Watchdog at the wrong time. And if the Sims can play defensively, actually they will be able to absorb the initial pressure here from Hit 'em Up's attack force. So he's going to have to do something, maybe airlift the Watchdog, but this many Vassals can actually kill that, so got to be somewhat careful. He's going to try to push in, see what he can do. A couple Matrixes are coming online. Cyclops are here to try to split some damage. I think he's got some pretty good mileage over here to clear out all of the Sims. The Vassal's still heckling. You can see the Cyclops are trying to be used against the Terran player here, but he can kind of just let him go. He can kind of just let the units rock because there's so much armor there. And the Vassals are never going to kill the Ministry. It's never going to happen. So the Scribes have to evacuate. The Matrixes get canceled. Aoud now producing a lot of Zealots off of his 4 gateways on the Crucible. And that will definitely, push this back. I don't think the Nexus goes down here. I think Aoud will be able to save it. Great counterpunch from Hit 'em Up, though. Has to be said. One of the Zealots will go down in short order. Got a Manifold here to boost Armor Pen. That's very much needed at this point, but it will eventually go down. And still, the ground army will get cleaned up. A couple more Scribes going down in the process, and Hit 'em Up finds himself up 2 workers with Blackjack production with the Scrapyard. The knowledge or the instinct of when to attack in that situation, it always pays to remember that Lattice units are not the typical Protoss unit. They are a lot more fragile. Lattice is like the bio of the Protoss in terms of, yeah, it can do a lot of damage and it's very mobile. It's not very durable. They just go down like flies. In the case of the Vassal, quite literally. So when you know your opponent has just got Lattice units, until they got Golems out or something, pretty easy to chop and change that. Matadors are out as well, help rend down the armor of the Zealots. And I love replacing the Cyclops with the Blackjacks here. You're not going to deal nearly as much friendly splash to yourself. The Vassals lose a lot of their offensive utility by just getting in the face of those Cyclops walkers, and you end up with a much different looking army here. We do finally have some Striders coming out for Aoud. He's got some Dracodons. Matadors are going to go ahead and get deployed. Zealots can't really engage into them. Blackjacks have a pretty good armor pen by themselves as well, by the way, so the Zealots, once their shields are down, they just get ignored by the 2 AP of the Blackjack. There's a nifty strategy there from Aoud. You could see that it got him an advantage at one point, but even though it denied mining at the natural for a little bit, now Hit 'em Up has that worker lead. Third base, map control, still in the favor of the Protoss for the time being, but it is a little bit fugazi, as the kids say. And by the way, no kids say that. That's just me, and I'm not a kid anymore. But it's definitely a little fraudulent. One Strider dueling, dancing with the entirety of the Hit 'em Up army. Yeah, I think this might have been an error. I don't know why all these Striders are out here. The rest of his army's back at home. Gonna see if he can do some heckle damage to the Matadors. The Blackjacks are gonna be dancing with them just fine. This isn't like Cyclops, right? Where the Cyclops have to actually watch out for the splash damage that they're moving through. The Blackjacks can just creep forward and they don't need to worry about that splash. Now, rest of the army coming in from the south. Now we got a little bit of a crunch happening, and the Matadors are way in the back. Not able to help out as much. Not much chip damage went down on them, but the front line is all but dead already. One Ecclesias goes down. That's going to speed everything up, and the Golem will be burnt to a crisp. We got still more Striders dealing with those Matadors up top flank. If the Blackjacks actually get engaged upon, they can eventually go down. Yeah, it looks like the Matadors are eventually going to be dealt with as well. One random Hierophant over here, not going to do anything to that armored tank. But all of their other ones will be going down, and it is just a bit of a Strider duel. The Sims still splitting up and causing a lot of interesting things to happen there to the Protoss army, decolliding in the process. And the Blackjacks will trade okay in this situation. Really, Hit 'em Up just wants to keep Aoud on his side of the map, because right now, Hit 'em Up is teching behind that big attack, and he's got plenty of Blackjacks to absorb any response from the Protoss. We need to see tech from him, and Aoud is indeed going for the prostration stage. His third base is up, but not saturated yet. Not really any workers to saturate with. Not even mining Vespene from the ridge in his natural, and not mining Vespene with 2 workers from the ridge in the main either. So, very gaslight opener here from Aoud, and I don't know if he realizes it. Nosferatu has a fan theory about why Blackjacks are so cheap. Actually, they're made of scrap and they're autonomously piloted, remote piloted. So, but maybe it would be funny if, reclaimed Mavericks have to pilot them. That would be really... Why would Beaver make the reclaimed Maverick pilot sound so cheery? You know what I mean? Some Cyclops have been re-added in as the Atlas is complete. We have what I'm guessing are going to be captaincies. Let's see. Yep. Captaincies all the way through so that we can get our tier 2 bio up. And if it is going to be captaincies, especially if it's going to be apostles, the prostration stage can struggle versus that, and we have a second one, so Aoud really is doubling down, wanting to build all of his higher tier tech around the Crucible, which, by the way, this one is too far to benefit from. So we'll be a pariah but it will not... oh, no, he is. He is there. Yeah, the field is just really small compared to the structure itself. I thought it wasn't being empowered, but no, it is. Safe. Ayud knows more about Protoss base layouts than a number of other homies, although he did still get the 3 Drax stuck behind this Crucible in the game against Newt. So I can't say that fully. Gonna be taking a 4th base here. Hit him up, sizing up a 3rd. His captaincies are coming up here. We don't have any... we do not have any like architects or any artillery for the Protoss army, so Blackjack Matador will trade pretty reasonably versus this squad. And Pariahs in small numbers, Blackjacks and Matadors to combine can deal with them. So let's see what Hit 'em Up does. Spurring forward. It looks to me like with the add-on that he's going for, he wants Striga Siren. He's not actually making any tier 2 bio yet. It's just pure Blackjack Matador with some Cyclops coming in as well to spread some of the damage in the southern flank. The micro backwards is great from Ayud, cycling back where he can. And the Pariahs are getting rinsed right now, but plenty of good damage here as Hit 'em Up tries to micro back to his Matador line. Everybody trying to commit onto the back line. It's not actually working out. Both armies getting traded down pretty heavily, but remember, Hit 'em Up has yet to actuate his tier 2 tech. He's built up the infrastructure. He needs to start, you know, whirring up some Sirens and Strigas. And where's that extra base? He's just now waiting for it. But base number 4 already on the way for Ayud, so pretty solid there. Now he's got a Mind Tyrant coming. He wants to start cannibalizing, controlling, tyrannizing the Matadors. Maybe some Blackjacks in the process. Give himself a champion Pariah. Push on through. Extra shields, extra movement speed. Pretty powerful there. Worker advantage for our Protoss as well. Honestly, in this situation, I'd be thinking about an extra base. Go up to base number 5. We do have a Vespine cap. Never did double saturate the ridge inside the main base. He's going to actually triple saturate the one inside his natural, which is not the same thing. 3rd worker is diminishing returns. And there we go. So the energy pool of the Mind Tyrant will now be drained before the Pariah's own shields. And as base number 4 completes for our Protoss player, the 4th captaincy is on the way here for Hit 'em Up. Maybe a 5th one as well. He's adding a round of Apostles after his initial bout of Sirens and Strigas. He's just using them as support units, it looks like. I'm guessing he'd go for more Strigas soon. Yeah, and that does make me feel like Hit 'em Up's going to be able to take this game relatively comfortably when the next army confrontation occurs. It will demand some positioning out of Ayud's Protoss army as he's going to push forward into the Terran side of the map. But, I mean, Hit 'em Up's been left to his own devices, sitting pretty here. And I feel like Ayud's tech path would be pretty good versus, like, Mantle play, Cataphract or something like that. But I don't know, man. I think that the Strigas are going to pull his Pariahs, even his champion Pariah, his Malefactor, as it is called, will be pulled by the Strigas, right? And then, you know, the Apostles will be healing and all sorts of stuff. See, Protoss army a little bit out of sync, waiting for reinforcements. There's one of the Pariahs, gobbled up immediately by the Siren call. And that's the reveal that Tier 2 has been actuated here. It should have had his suspicions. Mind Tyrant kind of blocking the way. Oh, it's just frontlining. Oh, it's down. He can't even do anything then. And I think that might be an early sign of the demise. He was frontlining with his caster. The Apostles will keep the front line going for the other side of things. A lobotomy mine to stun those Pariahs on the far side, but hold on. Ayud still tries to push through. His Pariahs are going down. And his Strigas on the other side of things Hit 'em Up, able to just clear the deck and wipe the floor. And this is despite that extra base, right? This is despite having that 4th base, although it wasn't saturated until about a minute ago. Ayud does not have the extra infrastructure to spend down some of that money. Big float there as he added 3 more gateways. And I just don't think that's the tech that he needs. Doesn't have much in the way of defenses over here at the 3 o'clock position. Another Malefactor Pariah is going to be the attempt to deliver him from evil. And it turns out all he does is deliver evil to his opponent as he reclaims the Pariah. Oh, he might just reclaim that Mind Tyrant, but I don't think so. GG has to be called. Hit 'em Up was left to his own devices for a bit too long. And that is game 1, going the way of the Leviathan. Ayud has to select map 2 now. Will we get a third map like we did before? I would love to see a third map. I would love to see a third map. Newt really wants more TVP info. Okay, we will go to Blackwater for our next map. I wonder if that game was comfortable for Hit 'em Up. He always ends up telling me that like every game is a stress fest and he never has any like easy matches. I don't know, dude. I feel like that last game must have been like, oh yeah, whatever. Hit 'em Up is not happy with the map. He apparently does not like Blackwater. All right, guys, we are getting into our next matchup here. We have, two very similar colors, and it will be TVP. Hit 'em Up has rolled Terran yet again. He is our red Terran in the bottom left. And Aoud is the blood proton. But not the bone proton. Oh, see if Aoud can conquer this man. I'm not so sure. Hit 'em Up just seems too powerful, you know what I mean? And he's gonna go bio, my man! There is a bone color, actually. I think it's technically called silver pink, but it used to be called bone, and it looks like bone. It's like a bloody off... It's like an off-white that hues red, so it's pretty good. I like it. All right. Hit 'em Up will show the way. Hit 'em Up will shamble his way to victory with 500 Mavericks. I agree, Nosferatu. First of 500. Okay? Scribe scouts top right, but Mason scouts bottom right. Aoud, your days are numbered here, my friend. There will be a tidal wave of Mavericks approaching you shortly. He's actually going to scout his opponent last while Hit 'em Up scouts first, because he's just that lucky. He rolls Terran twice versus Aoud, and now look at this. Aoud's been the only one to damage Hit 'em Up's ego, to bruise him in his campaign and Weekend Wage so far. This is the second consecutive Weekend Wage, and second Weekend Wage in general that Hit 'em Up has participated in. Is he anchor floating? My man is anchor floating in the grand finals. This is like a strat that even people who are familiar with Cosmonarchy from years ago are gonna be like, oh, I remember this strat. Mystery Meat did this strat all the time. Yeah. And there's one for the books. I can't believe he's doing it. That's wrong. All right, off we go. Nexus gets started. We'll see where that scribe... If that scribe goes back to mining, he will have no scouting, no advance warning. You can see how shallow the scouting radius is. Oh, he's found it! He's found it! He found it! The scoundrel has been discovered! Dude, Aoud must look at bio plus anchor float and think to himself, he's trying to style on me? What's going on here? Well, Hit 'em Up is going to go ahead and clear out any more military he was making and expand because it was scouted. Drakidans are on the way. If Aoud loses to bio, he should retire. Don't say that. He's against Hit 'em Up. Hit 'em Up makes everybody play worse just by existing. He passes every intimidation check, I swear to God. Third stockade on the way. More Cyprians. They could stand toe-to-toe with Drax, kind of. Although, not Aoud Drak. Aoud Drak quantity is like... I don't know, 64, I guess. 64 is like a programming number. So when I saw Aeud's name, I thought it was EUD, which is a type of trigger in Starcraft 1 mapping. It's like sort of proto-modding, basically. And I really thought he was just like a homie that has played a lot in that way. But no, his name starts with Aeud. So that's where that comes from. I don't know what the significance of 64 is, but that's just all a massive coincidence. Gasless Trojan? Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Nosferatu gets it. Yeah, granddad. Ah, I get it. It could be that, like, the birth year of somebody important to him is that, or something. I don't know. I'll have to ask him sometime. He made a typo writing UED. Drac stack, Drac attack. Vestry on the way here means that we will be seeing some healing, likely some clerics from Hit 'em Up. We did see this kind of style in his opening matchup, actually, versus Krankendow. So the fact that he's playing it in this context is pretty interesting. Crucible to empower the gateways and adding some more build space as his third base has warped in here. So Aeud should be up to a pretty comfortable economic lead. What is the bio gonna do? You know, like the Drax can be cleared. That's fine. That's not really the big deal. He's actually gonna go ahead and lift the anchor and move. Now he moves it across. We have some patrolling Drax here though, so I don't know. He's gonna try to, you know, bust out first naturally. Clerics are out. Stockade. Double stockade. Okay. Adding even more, doubling down. We might see Covenant in this game, guys. That is a distinct possibility. Gonna try to save his units so that his clerics can heal. Let the Cyprians do some damage. Push him away. Push him back. Hit him up. Push him up. Yeah, here's the problem that you find yourself in, though. They can just heckle you. And he's going to go ahead and unload the Mavs and see if he can stim after some units or something. No, he's not even going to bother. He's still busy microing the dance. Not a single Drac has gone down. Not a single Drac has taken HP damage. Just so you guys know. Technically, one of them in the back has, like, all the way back at the base. Yeah. He's only got Cyprians now, so he could actually do some damage. Mavs ain't gonna be in the way. Is he gonna do Cyprian Cleric? Is that it? Pure Cyprian Cleric? That's actually kind of baller if you think about it. That's pretty scary. Every time you have a cleric healing a unit, it does get +2 armor. That doesn't really matter too much to the Dracodon, though. Shopkeeper Dog in the chat, welcome. You missed some great games. And he's specifically referring to the Dracodon getting extra health. He just said Protoss because the Dracodon is Protoss. And when Kasuga said remove toss, he meant the Dracodon. That makes sense. Dude, we're learning so much today. Unitary Union on the way as base number 4 is being taken by Aeud. This looks like a slam dunk, surely. The style attempt here with the Cyprian count is not going to work. But I've been proven wrong before, and Hit 'em Up has done many a strange and dastardly thing in this game. Hit 'em Up's going to try to change everybody's mind with this match. And he's got a lot of minds to change coming in at him. Protoss minds, no less. Oh, he's got a pretty good setup with the Hurricanes, though. The Cyprian count is enormous. And it does look like Aeud has been utterly annihilated with this attack. His Dracodons are still alive, but you can't approach this many Sips. Well, there you go, Newt. Your mind has been changed. Just like that. We got plenty of units back at home to defend against the counterattack. Here come the Hurricanes as well to help rend the armor, making the Zealots easy fodder. The Stim Mavs DPSing down all the Zealots, and that is going to be a hold. And that is going to be a wrap. Bio wins the day. It's actually good. It's not Aoud walking directly into death. Oh my god. See you later, Nexus. Goodbye, Scribes. 7 Dracodons at a pop. 1 Asilian. Has he got another one? No, nothing making there. Oh, at least now he's getting a little bit of something, right? A little bit of redemption at the end of it all. Now, it's a little bit harder for a fight like this to go the way of Hit 'em Up's army, but yeah, let's just say that last engagement was not the best from Aoud. He's trying. He's microing. He's trying so hard, but the Covenant is coming. Eidolons are coming. It might not even matter, dude. Cyprian's just like, yeah. Oh my goodness. Here come the reinforcements. Oh my god, it's pure Mav! He really is styling on him! Hit 'em Up has pushed the Shambler button. Why did Aoud make that choice, I wonder? We'll have to ask him later. His Dragonids are getting absolutely hilariously bopped, and Cyprians are here. Oh, 500 more minutes. Trying to heckle that third base that's been left unmolested this whole time, but Aoud still going to get backed into a corner here as the reinforcement Cyprians come. There's 7 more Draconids, 6 more Draconids coming down. Wait, he should have 7. He's making 7 a pop. Okay, none of them are stuck. And the Cilliant is seemingly not. I don't think it's stuck. He's just not using it. GG has to be called. And Hit 'em Up wins with Bio, dude. What can you say? What do you want from me, homies? What do you want from me? All I can tell you is that was dumb. GG's. Bio is too good. I gotta nerf the stockade, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what to do about that. Newt, you've been your mind has been changed. You have been surprised and shellacked and pranked. And nice playing with you. Yeah, nice seeing you. And Hit 'em Up wins another weekend wage. Is it any surprise? I will be asking the homies where they want their money, if they want to put it towards the next prize pool or what. But pretty good stuff. The $20 to Hit 'em Up, shawarma money, classic. Although he did say he just gives it back. I don't pressure anybody to do that. I think it would be fine to take the prize money. You did earn it by winning. Aoud with 15, and it was Newt with 10, and who got 5? Arbuz. Arbuz got 5. There you go. And that will be all I have to say on the matter. I am not reading that chat message. GG's. Goodbye.